Loving it. I'm loving it. It's not often I switch up PFPs, man. Like usually once I find one I vibe with, I stick with it. It's gonna be really hard for me to find something besides this one, I think. Um I think this is gonna be mode for quite a fucking while.
Hell yeah. Fucking stoked for tomorrow.
Oh, you getting yours tomorrow?
Yeah, man, I'm gonna be working, but I'm gonna like take 10 minutes in the bathroom and fucking gas battle it out.
I dig it, dude. I dig it. I appreciate you being here again, as always, man. You and I know Turtle's in each session. Captain, glad to have a lot of the same people always coming back. It lets me know you guys are learning something. Otherwise, you wouldn't fucking come back again. You
No,
know?
absolutely. And we all appreciate, the insight that you provide and the very thorough and clear perspectives and lessons that you give.
Awesome. Appreciate that. Trading's difficult waters, man. It's you know people talk about, yeah, you got to have a positive attitude and this and that, and you know of course that patience and don't FOMO and trading emotionless and all these things. And the truth of it is, it goes against everything in you as a human being, right? Like if you're taking loss, your body looks at that as taking that as injury, right? And your mind is like, yeah, fuck this. This is not good, and you want out, right? So when we talk about don't trade emotionally and being patient, like it's more about the action. Even the best traders are gonna have that shit, get that excitement, and man, I feel like I'm gonna miss out. Okay, wait a minute. Am I about to FOMO in? Let me sit back and look at this and then make the action. We all get the feeling, but it's about the actions you take. Um, going back to just the basics and the fundamentals of trading, I think are ultimately important because it comes down to you and you alone. No one made you hit buy, no one made you hit sell. No one can risk management for you. No one, there's no boss looking over your shoulder. So, knowing the fundamentals and then knowing yourself. How are you going to react? How do you control FOMO? Don't trade if you're in a bad mood type thing. Yeah, when we say emotionless, don't go sit down and trade if you're pissed off, because then you're going to try to revenge trade and you're just going to get fucked. But yeah, so that's what this trader session is going to be, a 101, back to the very basics. I'm actually going to even log into my regular Thor, not the Thor Pro, but just the regular Thor first, and we'll take a look at that. We're just gonna break everything down, but glad to see some new faces in here too, man. This is going to be sweet. And if you were here last week and you took any of the trades we talked about, you were doing very well. We called out some bangers right on the fucking money last week. So congrats to you if you took them. But before we get into charts, like I said, I'm just gonna take it back to the very 101 basics. And we're gonna go from there unless anybody's got any questions, comments about Trader Tuesday, about Thor, about Thorntonals, before we dive in, let's through going through the self-taught methods as well as, I can't even tell you how many countless YouTube videos and everything else. I've been using Thor for several months now. Several months. I would say 6 months at least. But that is the point of the Trader 101 is going back to the very basics, and then as Young mentioned, I try to be as thorough as possible when reviewing the charts because I get it. Especially when you look at a chart, you're like, I see a bunch of fucking lines and numbers and I'm lost. So the last thing I want to do is make it more confusing. The goal of this is to be able to understand the very basics of a chart, to understand risk management. Understanding risk management is actually more important than understanding the charts. Because believe it or not, if you have the proper risk management, you can just almost flip a coin and make your trade and be successful with proper risk management. If you have good risk management, just a basic idea of how to look at charts, and you have access to Thor, you can be a profitable trader without fully understanding how to trade. So hopefully, I usually keep it to 6-year-old level, but I'll take it back to 5 this week, and we'll see what we got. Anybody else before we get started? Questions, comments, anything on
Yeah,
Thor, Thornals, whatever.
yeah. On the Thornals BTC pairing, is there any differentiation between that and the pairing with the I guess like Gen 1 Soul Frogs?
Okay, so what it means by BTC pairings? Well, one, as you know, we go through BTC USD pairing each week, and that is the pairing that is included with the Solana Cyber Frogs, at a certain tier. Now, what BTC pairings we're talking about and will open up and be offered is Bitcoin ETH. Bitcoin Solana. So instead of buying Bitcoin for USD and then, taking your profit in USD, you'll be looking at Bitcoin Solana. So you'll either be accumulating more Bitcoin or you'll be accumulating more Solana. So you're not actually taking your Bitcoin and turning it back into US dollars. You'll be pairing your Bitcoin against your Solana. So if Solana is about to outperform Bitcoin, you put your money in Solana. When the altcoins and Solana are kind of taking their break and BTC is about to take its run, you'll take your Solana and transfer that over to Bitcoin. So, in essence, what you're looking to do is stack more Bitcoin or stack more Solana and not stack shitcoin, the USD. And it'll be the same with BTC ETH and other pairings. You can trade Bitcoin against those pairings. So the BTC USD, yeah, that'll be in there as well, but that is the same. BTC USD is the same pairing that we have as the Solana Cyber Frogs. Does that make sense?
Yeah, entirely. Thanks.
Perfect. I see a couple more people got their mics off. Any other questions, comments? Phil, if you don't mind, perfect. Muted. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just dive in back to the day one slides, unless anyone's got any questions. Going once, going twice. Frogs fuck. You got it. We're going live with this. All right, so again, this is fucking 101. This is the very beginning of learning how to trade and what some of these definitions even mean. What does it mean to take a long? What does it mean to make a short? Like, what is all this shit? I guess that is kind of when you go to use Thor, that's something you need to understand when it says this is a long or this is a short. So, I hope everybody can see this. It's showing it's live, so I'm assuming you guys can see it.
I have a question. question. Is this being recorded so like I can look back on it later or no?
So this is being recorded. Yeah, we are going to have them up on the YouTube soon, but there is also a channel, Tuesday Trader Review. Every one of these slides that I show you is available in there. And you can also see the charts from each week when we leave off. I'll screenshot the chart and do a write-up of what we were looking at. So you can actually even look in the Tuesday Trader Review and see, oh yeah, we said, look at this call, or Thor made this call and it performed. So you can actually see week to week what we're suggesting or Thor is predicting and then how it plays out. But yes, all these slides are in there and they are starting to be recorded and will soon be put up on YouTube. So the very basics of Thor and trading, right? Thor will tell you it's time to make a long or time to make a short. What does that mean? A long means purchasing an asset with the expectation price will go up, right? We're all used to that. You want to buy low and sell high. That's how you make money, right? Buy low, sell high. That's what taking a long is. You're buying what you think is low and you're selling it what you think is high. What is a short? A short is the opposite of a long. A short is selling an asset or purchasing a contract with the expectation price will decrease. That means you are selling your Solana thinking you can buy it back at a cheaper price. Or that means opening a short perpetual contract or futures contract, opening a contract in a short position, basically saying that the price of Solana is going to go down. So a long, price go up, short, price go down, so you can make money when price is going down too. You don't only have to make money when price is going up. What is TP? Take profit. You'll see Thor call this out many times. It'll say take profit or TP1, TP2, TP3. Taking profit is closing a trade or a portion of that trade for profit. So let's think of a long situation. You buy Solana at $20. At $21, you sell 50% of your entry. At $22, you sell the rest of your entry, right? So you've sold on your way up. You hit TP1, took profit at one point, you took profit at another point, right? Same with the short. Let's say you sold your Solana at $25 and you buy it back at 23 and you buy it back at 22. That would be taking profit on a short. You sold high and now you're buying low again. So you can use your USD to buy low, sell high, make more USD. You can use your Solana to sell Solana high and buy it back at a cheaper cost to make more Solana with your Solana. So you can make more USD or make more Solana. And this is why the BTC pairings are going to be so powerful, because you can make more BTC or more SOL. Give me 1 second, and I will bring up the next slide here. Any questions? I should ask. So any questions on this slide before I go to the next? Yesy, what's up, bro? Glad to have you join us. And Fearless, I see you down there too. Glad to have you. Anybody got any questions on this one before I move on? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Going once, going twice. Frog spot, moving on. So the second part of understanding trading, understanding how to look at Thor and how to use it. Thor is a spot trading algorithm. What does that mean? Or I mentioned in a short, you could purchase a contract. What does that mean? And then there's leverage. What the fuck does all this mean? We know what a long is. Long means you buy with price expectation to go up. Short, you buy a contract or sell with expectation price is going to go down. So spot is purchasing or selling the actual asset, not a contract or a price equivalent, but the asset itself. What does that mean in simple degen terms? Buying Solana that you can move to another wallet because you own that Solana. Solana, you could go buy an NFT you if you want because you own that Solana. If you buy a perpetual contract, all you have is a piece of paper essentially that says, well, you have the price equivalent of 100 Solana. Whatever 100 Solana is worth, that's what you have. But you can't go spend that 100 Solana. You can't move that 100 Solana. That's what spot is. Spot is buying the actual asset, the actual Solana or the actual Bitcoin. You could exchange wallets. You could do whatever the fuck you want with it, right? So the opposite of that would be a contract. A contract, usually futures or perpetual, it represents the price action and value of the asset, but it is not the asset itself. So, like I was just saying, you basically have something that says you have one BTC and that piece of paper is worth whatever one Bitcoin is worth. That contract is worth whatever one Bitcoin's worth. But you can't move it to your ledger. You can't go buy a Thordinal with it. You don't actually own the Bitcoin. You own a contract that's a price equivalent. Does that make sense so far? And the differences of the two. Spot you actually have, a contract is just simply price representation. So that's where we get into leverage, because people hear leverage all the time. On contracts, you can also often place leverage. Let's keep it simple, because it is simple. It's essentially adding a multiplier to the price action. So if you do 5x leverage and Solana goes up 1%, you've actually made 5% profit. So let's say you do 20x leverage and price goes up 5%. That means you've made 100% profit. That also means if you do 20x leverage and price goes down 5%, you've also lost 100% of your position. In contracts, you can lose them. In spot, you own it. You own the real asset. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And again, these are quick degen terminologies. This is to help the basics. If you're going to get into leverage trading and everything else, obviously do a little bit more research than, the 5 minutes I've gone over covering this. I'm just simply explaining to you what a spot means, what a contract is, and what it means to use leverage. And like I said, Thor is a spot trading contract. So Thor buys Solana and then it sells Solana. That's why it can take the Solana it has and it can stake it while it's waiting to make a trade with it and do these other things. Its risk tolerance for when it invalidates a call or even when it posts a call, it's all based on spot trading. When we get into the charts a little later, you'll see how even this can be effective and most effective over the long term. And a lot of people, depending where you are regionally, you may only be able to spot trade. You may not be able to trade with contracts or leverage. But, so keep in mind, Thor is designed to spot trade. It is not designed for leverage and everything else. That does not mean that it can't be used that way. It most certainly can. but keep in mind it is designed for spot. So don't get discouraged in spot trading. This is what it's designed for. Slow and steady is growth, and that's what Thor is about. Just slow and steady growth and compounding small gains into large wins. Any questions on spot, contract, or leverage before I hit the next slide? All right, we'll move on here.
Yeah, and for those coming in, make sure you mute yourself as you come in. So, Poppy, make sure you hit that mute button, brother, unless you have a question.
All right. Next one. This is an important one to understand. Because we talk about, you'll hear people say DCA a lot. What does it mean? How do you do it? But what the fuck is it? And then you will absolutely hear us talk about risk management over and over and over. So these are two things that you really want to understand. Dollar cost average, DCA. And we'll say, oh, Thor is DCAing into Sol. What does that mean? It means purchasing or selling to change the average cost of a current position or holding. Let's break that down a little more simple, DGen. If you have 10 Sol that you bought at $30 and Sol dips down to $20, you DCA, you dollar cost average, by buying an additional 10 Sol. Now you have 20 Sol at an average cost of $25. So your original cost of the Sol you were holding was $30. Sol dipped, you dollar cost average to lower your average cost. So now all the Sol you have is a value of 25 USD. Is your cost average now. I hope that makes sense. It's kind of basic math. If you were bullish on Bitcoin at $17 and it drops to 16, do you sell? No, you buy more. You dollar cost average. It's a way to purchase to change the average cost of a current position. Risk management, risk to reward management. As I said earlier, you can have terrible technical analysis. You cannot even know how to look at a chart. You can be profitable with proper risk to reward management, right? So what does that mean? That means calculating, understanding, and accepting the risk versus reward of each trade. Again, calculating, understanding, and most of all, accepting what you are willing to risk for what you are willing to potentially gain. And not only will you do this with your individual trades, but you need to do this with your portfolio. For instance, you don't want to take 100% of your trade money and go all in on one trade, right? That's not risk management. It goes the wrong way. You're kind of fucked. You don't live to fight another day, right? So you need to understand when you place a trade, if the trade is going against you, what do you do? That is your risk to reward management. What do you do if that trade is going against you? Do you dollar cost average or do you cut your losses? That is something you need to calculate, understand, and accept before you even place a trade. I'm going to say shit about risk management a lot, and that's because it is literally the most important thing that you can really understand. If you have Thor and you have good risk to reward management, you can become a profitable trader. And I am confident in saying that. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. But the numbers, the math shows and proves if you have good risk management and you have Thor, you can be profitable. Any questions on dollar cost average or risk to reward before we head into some of the next slides? Actually, I'm going to go jump on Thor and explain a little bit more about risk management because it is really fucking important. So, any questions about this slide before I actually jump into Thor and we take a look at how to assess risk management on trades that Thor gives predictions for? Go once, go twice. No stop. All right, all right. So we're gonna go to the granddaddy here, Bitcoin. If you guys can see this still, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Is that Andy?
Nope.
Recognize it.
Incognito, bro.
I thought I recognized that voice, but I guess not. Welcome to the show, whoever you are. First time, glad to have you here. Thor, Fox, Soda Frogs, welcome. Okay, so when you log into Thor, this is the basic Thor. This is not Thor Pro. I'm going to go to Bitcoin right now just because there are some current calls. How you change asset or pairing right here. Simple drop down menu. Solana, SHIB. Are you feeling real degen? You could go for some SUI. You never know how you feeling. But we're going to go with the granddaddy and the most trusted BTC right here. So we've selected BTC USD. Now we look at our time frames. You see the asterisks here next to the 4-hour, next to the daily. That means there is something to look at in the 4-hour and on the daily. So we're going to go to the 4-hour first. What do we have from Bitcoin on the 4-hour? Bitcoin is calling for a long. So what was a long? Buying with the expectation of price going up, right? So we will be buying here. Our entry point, see, entry for our long would be here between 25,196 and 25,131. This is where you want to enter. Let's look at the little chart we got up here. And you can see there's our entry zone. If price hits here, this is where you want to enter. This is this current call. This is your entry. TP, TP, TP. We talked about TPs. TP1, TP2, TP3. Let's take profit. So Thor is saying if you buy Bitcoin between 25,000, 25,193, 196 and 25,131, if you buy here in this zone, take some of your profit, sell at least a portion of your position at 26,320. Sell a portion, if not all, at 26,667. And then if it continues and you don't have any indicator that price is reversing and shit's still going, your final take profit zone would be at 27,000, right? So Thor is telling you buy here, sell here. Pretty simple. Entry, and look, it even tells you exit. So you buy, this is where you sell. Well, that doesn't tell me much for risk management. That tells me when to buy, when to sell. That doesn't tell me what if I buy and price keeps going down. What do we do? RM, right here. Sile is the fucking GOAT. We know how important risk management is. So you can click on set up trade, risk management. What do we got? So if you look here, we're going after take profit one. This is, I love that Sile said this exactly on a team meeting, and I've never forgot it. I've heard this before, but just something about Sile being such a goat and his stoic German voice, just the way he said it, plan your trade, trade your plan. It's just stuck in my mind in a different way. So how do we do that? Well, we know our entry, we know our exit, but how do we manage our risk? And if you look here, I don't know if you can read this, how big it is on your screen, but risk, the currency of USD, the amount you are willing to lose. So let's just say I'm willing to lose $50 on a trade, on a single trade. I'm willing to lose up to $50 on this trade to find out if it goes in my direction. So risk to reward, a 1-to-1. That is essentially a coin flip. Heads, tails, 1-to-1, right? One side's heads, one side's tails. If you're okay with that risk management for this trade, you will buy 0.04 Bitcoin at this price, and you set your stop loss here at this price. If you want to, and I would suggest having a higher risk to reward ratio, because if you're just coin flipping, 50-50 just isn't what I'm looking for. I want something a little more probable, because trading is a game of managing your risk and being on the correct side of probability. That's really what trading is. Are you on the right side of probability, and are you managing your risk? So I would look more at the 2-to-1. I'm going to bet heads, but now there's two sides of heads instead of just one, essentially, right? I want to get double what I'm willing to lose at least, 2-to-1. So that's what I would look at. So my trade, willing to lose up to $50. I will buy 0.08 Bitcoin at $25,131, and I will set my stop loss at $24,537. Do you understand? We have looked at how to make a long, how to set a stop loss, where to make entry, where to take profit, and we haven't looked at a fucking chart yet. We haven't drawn any lines anywhere. We haven't done anything on a chart. All we've done is look here at Thor, and what is Thor telling us to do? It's telling us to buy here and sell here. We figure out what is our risk management, because everyone's portfolio is different. Maybe your portfolio is small. You're only willing to risk up to $10 on a single trade. No problem. Thor don't give a fuck. It's all math. So here's what you do now. Here's what I would do. I'll buy 0.2 BTC, 0.02 BTC at this price, set my stop loss, SL, at that price. You know what? I had another slide that has stop loss and something else about takeoff. I'm going to have to look around for that. It's in the Trader Tuesday review. Somehow I just didn't have it set up on my other slide. I'll look for that. Oh, who's that? Picky Wolf, if you don't mind muting yourself, please. If you have a question, anybody, seriously, anybody, if you have a question, just fucking interrupt me, because I'll just keep talking and not shut the fuck up if no one's talking. So if you have a question, please feel free to unmute and ask. There are no stupid questions. We're all learning here. This is 101. So I'd rather
So
you ask a question, even if we already covered it.
yeah, so correct me if I'm wrong, but like one of the fundamental things with stop loss, like if one didn't have access to Thor, one and they wanted to determine their stop loss, uh isn't like a rule of thumb to like space it out a few hundred or a few I guess at a different value. Like if it's at 2,500, you want to do it a little less than that because of the timing of the actual asset while it's trading.
So that all comes into strategy. So just for instance, if I were looking at this chart right here, if I wanted to make my entry right here, right now, I would probably put my stop loss, if I wanted to play it tight, right here, or I'd put it below the last low, right? Because what do we always want? We want to see higher lows and higher highs if we're going up. Higher lows and higher highs signifies an uptrend. So as long as it doesn't go below the last low, I'm still technically in an uptrend. But you have to calculate, is this 10% or is this only 2%? Are you know, if I put my stop loss down here, what am I looking at? We'll actually just do it right here. Fuck it. Because we got all the tools. Because Thor fucks. So if I was to put my stop loss here at the last low, right? I'm looking at a 1.93% loss. If I'm looking to take profit just here where it tested high, say, let's, you know, or here, this is probably where I would go. If I was looking to take profits here, refill these candles, I'm now looking at a 3-to-1 ratio, which I told you I want at least a 2-to-1. This is a 3-to-1, but I would never take this trade. Let me tell you why. Because I have a stop loss to get out of the market when Thor's telling me to get in the market, right? So I'm not suggesting you take this trade. I'm just giving you example. And if you wanted to play it tight, then you would enter here and maybe move your stop loss to here, your last spike of the low, right? So risk management is all up to you, but you don't want to buy in and put your risk management at 0, because if you don't give it at least a little room to breathe, they're probably just going to stop you out, take your money, and then go whatever direction it intended to in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
And that's
And,
exactly why this will give you, you know, your stop loss based on what you're willing to lose.
yeah, because I was just curious because uh, Thor's stop loss recommendation must be like concrete. If the, I mean, obviously, it's not gonna
Yeah, Thor
present.
is absolutely concrete. That's one of the things, you know, it is very concrete. It's math. It's no emotion. It's not, it doesn't think it's going to do this or that. It says, this is what price did. This is what the math says. And it's that simple. It really is. It operates on the KISS system. Keep it simple, stupid. You know, um,
Yeah,
it's how Thor works. So yeah, managing, but you do want to understand stop loss. Let me go to the daily here just to show you guys a short,
I have a
because
question.
we do have. Please go ahead.
I missed how you set the stop loss. I saw you, like, it was on there and it was red, but I missed how you did it.
Okay, so Let me also preface that what I just did does not place a trade in any way. What this right here does is this just gives me a little marker that says percentage down, percentage up of where I think my trade may be, right? So this doesn't actually set a stop loss. This is just showing me the math.
Okay, gotcha.
Yes. So one thing people do get confused on with Thor is there is an auto protocol and there is a manual protocol. So the auto protocol, when you go to enter, Thor will tell you how much Solana it wants and how much USD it wants. Because if it's time to buy Solana, put it this way. Usually when you get in a liquidity pool, it's 50-50 of each asset. Thor is smarter than that. So sometimes it'll ask for more Solana or more USD, and it won't be a full 50-50 input. But either way, from there on out, it will use that to automatically buy, automatically sell, automatically shorten hedge, automatically stake, and do all these things without you ever doing anything else. And it will do it automatically all over the next 90 days until you either close or restart your contract. Now, what we are looking at right here is Thor manual. So what this is doing, if I go to daily, this is telling me to sell my Bitcoin between 29,000 and 73 and 28,900. Sell my Bitcoin here and buy some back at 27,538 and buy some back at 27,116, or open a short contract at this price and close my short contract at this price. So there's nothing I can do here that's going to make this trade for me. I'll either have to go to Coinbase, KuCoin, Bybit, Drift Protocol, just decentralized exchange. Wherever it is you're buying or selling your Bitcoin or your Solana, you will have to go do these manually. Now, if you have Thor, if you have money in the automated protocol, what you're seeing here, Thor is automatically doing. It's automatically doing this on its own without you having to think about it. These manual calls let you pick all these different assets and different time frames to trade on your own, and then figure out your own risk management for each of these trades. So in a short, it's just kind of the opposite. See, you're buying your contract high and selling your contract low, or you're selling your Bitcoin high and buying your Bitcoin back lower, right? So this is how Thor calls longs and shorts and how to understand the difference in them. So Thor is saying if we hit this orange box, that's the entry point for this short, and this is where you'll take profit. If we get up to this price and enter this range, that's where you'll make your entry for your short and your take profit. I'm going to go to BNB because it usually has a million fucking calls. No, not really. But we do have one on the 1 hour. So, we'll get into time frames a little bit and what time frames mean, which time frame you should be choosing. But looking at the basics of Thor right now, does anybody have any questions on just how to choose an asset, how to look at a time frame, and then how to read what it's telling you for entry, what it's telling you for take profit, and what it's telling you to do for risk management. Any questions on this?
When the entry appears active, that's when you actually go into the trade, just verifying.
Yeah, when it shows active, I could find an active one way faster on the Thor Pro, just the way it's set up. I'll click through and see a couple different assets and just see if I see what he's talking about. You see here, it says waiting. Waiting means we haven't quite hit that price, right? It's waiting to hit this entry. It's waiting to hit this long. Now, once price does tap into here, this waiting will change, and I believe it turns purple and says active. So that lets you know that that call has triggered. We have hit the parameters for the entry of that call when it switches to active. I don't see any. Actually, I think there's a dot daily that's still active. Yep, and has been forever. I actually was in this and took profits along. But anyway, you can see this daily long called to enter between 435 and 4.21. I actually entered it, I think, way back here and took profits. This is one that was called a while ago. When was this called? No, that was called August 10th. So I must
What'd you set your stop loss at for that?
Honestly, I'm pretty sure as soon as I got in it, it moved up and I moved my stop loss to 0. So if I have a trade and it generally starts going in my direction and it's looking pretty good, I like to move my stop loss to break even. Worst come to worst, I break even. But at least I don't have a trade go against me. Now, if it's, say, I'm spot trading Solana and I'm buying what I think is the bottom, I might leave my stop loss and then maybe even DCA, because if I feel, hey, this is a valuable asset, this is a low price. But if I'm just using, say, $1,000 trading account and my only goal is to get more USD, a lot of times once I'm about a portion into profit that seems reasonable, I will move my stop loss to break even. And if you do that, if you keep your losses small, even small wins add up to big gains when your losses are smaller or non-existent at a break even. So to be honest, I don't remember. I do remember I got in and it started to pump, and I think I took my profits and moved up my stop loss. So I probably got stopped out of the rest of it at that point, but I had already taken some profits. But
early bird.
This is what an active signal is going to look like to let you know a trade has started and is active.
There's a good saying. Hey, Mode, it is Andy. I was just fucking with you earlier. There's a good saying in the trading community, and it's that no one gets poor taking profits. If you're just getting your feet wet and you're learning how to trade, one of the easiest things to do is to hold on to a trade, and you're like, fucking, we're going to Valhalla, right on. And that's a really easy mindset to get into, and that is, the positive side of your emotions talking at that point. And so take profits. And I encourage people as they are building accounts up to be happy with those, depending on if you're doing spot or leverage trading. And if you're just getting used to trading, use fucking spot. 3 and 5% gains add up way more quickly than gambling on leveraged perpetual trades. So no one gets poor from taking profits. and it's a good idea to start actualizing your gains. Mo, just real quickly, did you cover the time frames yet?
That's I did up here on how to change time frames. Next slides I'm about to pull up now that we went over how to look at the risk management. The next slides I have is specifically about time frames, what they mean, how to use them, because that is something really important to understand. And like you were just saying, Andy, this sounds stupid. I had problems taking profits. That sounds so stupid. Why would you have a problem taking profit? Look, FOMO works both ways. FOMO works by buying in late because you're afraid you're going to miss out. It also works in you're afraid you're going to miss out, want to keep going, so you don't want to sell it, right? So FOMO can work against you in many ways. Fear of missing out, so you buy in, or fear of missing out so you don't sell. But like you said, no one goes broke taking profits, and no one goes broke by breaking even on trades. You know what I mean? So risk management is everything. So yeah, like Andy just mentioned, time frames, because one thing that wrecked me early in learning to trade was not understanding the different time frames and how to really use them. You can have an indicator on one time frame telling you to buy and another indicator on another time frame, same asset. You can look at Solana on the 15 and it'd be telling you to sell. And you can be looking at Solana on the 4 hour and it's telling you to buy. And it's like, well, how the fuck does that work? Right? Well, let's get into it. Let's learn. Let's explain. And again, we'll look at some charts after we go through these. We'll look at some real charts to go over, and I can explain that a little bit better. So, what is time frame? The time frame of a chart, you know, we looked at those calls, the 15-minute, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, and the daily. The time frame of a chart represents the amount of time it takes for a candlestick, a single candlestick, to open and close, or print, as some people will say. So on a 15-minute chart, every 15 minutes, a new candlestick starts, a new bar starts. On a 4 hour chart, it's not until every 4 hours that a new bar starts, right? So, well, what's the importance of it? The different time frames affect how the amount of time you have to enter a trade, and how long the potential trade may take. Now, there will always be variation in time. If there wasn't, trading would just be too simple. Like, there'd be nothing to it. Andy, you say so? You got some? Just hot mic. All right. So no, a 15-minute chart does not mean you have 15 minutes to get in or 15 minutes to get out, or like, you know, this is going to hit and in 15 minutes I'm going to be in profit. That's not what that means at all. It also doesn't mean a 4 hour chart doesn't mean you got 4 hours to get in, and once it starts, you know, it's going to hit profit in 4 hours. That's not what this means at all. All it means is the time frame of a chart represents the amount of time it takes for a single candle or single bar to open and then close. Pretty simple. Now we're going to get a little more in depth on time frames. We talked about the Thor time frames. And again, all the slides we reviewed earlier and all the slides we're reviewing now, all these are in the Tuesday Trader Review channel. You can go back and look at every single one of these, review them, screenshot them for yourself, whatever you want. They're always there to look at. And you can see how we looked at them on each week's charts, because I screenshot and do a write-up of the charts from each week. And I'm really excited to go over last week's charts, because if you listen to what we were talking about, you made big fucking money. So, I saw, did somebody come off mute for a second? Anybody got a question? Okay, cool. I thought I heard something. All right, so Thor timeframes. Thor will make the potential trade calls on a 15-minute, a 1 hour, a 4 hour, and the daily timeframes. So what does this mean for us as traders? One, remember, there will always be variations and exceptions in this. This is just a basic framework and estimation. So if you're trading on the 15-minute chart, that trade could potentially take a couple hours to a day or maybe 2 days, right? Now, if you're trading on the 1 hour and a 1 hour call, those could take that day, a couple days, or maybe even up to a week, right? So 4 hour trades, they could take a couple days, a week, more likely, or even into a few weeks. Now, you could have a 4 hour call hit in fucking 4 hours even. It is possible. But don't look for that. These are just, but when you're trading on a larger time frame, you're also trading with more data, less volatility, and you give things a little longer to play out. And when we look at Thor again, you'll also see like the 15-minute calls, maybe, again, this varies, but let's say the 15-minute calls, they're going to give you 2% gains, right? 1 hour calls may give you 2 to 4% gains.
Is the audio out or is it just mine?
No, it's not only you. It's also my audio.
Yeah, I think
I was afraid to ask. Yeah.
Oh, you guys can't
Yeah,
hear me?
Mo, yeah,
Now we
okay,
can.
we can hear you now.
Put the bong down mode. You're muting yourself on accident, bro.
I don't know. I just muted and unmuted. You guys can hear me now, though?
Now,
We
yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. How long ago did I lose you?
So
I-
long, you're like 5-10 minutes, man.
Oh, shit. Fuck.
No, like 30
I
seconds. to a
think-
minute.
Mode's trying to rug us all.
Yeah, man.
I think
Man, hey, at least we're doing better than this if this was a Twitter space, because I would have had to kick half you out and to come back in. Probably would have been rugged myself, So, okay.
I have another question for you.
Fire away.
Maybe I'm not understanding it correctly. So these time frames that are there, like for example, it says 15 minutes. I don't understand how it says it could take longer than that. Is there something I'm missing or not understanding properly?
So, a 15-minute, no, this is what the trade will take. So a candle on the 15-minute time frame, candles will always print in 15 minutes. But if Thor says take this trade on the 15, remember, we looked at Thor. Let me see if I can.
Okay, I think I understand.
This is a good. This is a good question. I understand what you're saying. So here on the 1 hour chart, every hour we're going to get a new candle. But that doesn't mean, because this is a call on a 1 hour chart, you either got 1 hour to get in it or it's going to hit profit in 1 hour, right? What this means is when it hits here, if we look back at that other slide, the time frame that it's going to, how long will that Thor call take to play?
I
Right?
understand it now.
So,
So each thing
yeah,
means like how long each candle will be, but it doesn't mean it's gonna hit what the call is in that time.
exactly. Yep.
Gotcha. Thank you
15
for
minutes means, yeah, 15 minutes means it'll always make a candle every 15 minutes. But it means if you take a Thor call, you can expect that call to take profit or stop loss, essentially be invalidated or take profit anywhere within a couple hours to that day or the next, right? If you take a Thor call on the 1 hour, yeah, it's going to print 1 hour candles every time, but you can expect that trade to either hit stop loss or take profit like within 24 hours or maybe even a full week, right?
Mo, do you mind if I chime in here for a second?
Please do, bro.
So, and dude, you're doing a great job. This is fucking awesome. I love to see this, by the way. There's a bunch of you guys hanging out, learning how to use Thor. This makes me super happy. So, this is the most common question that we get for newbie traders is like, what time frame do I really trade on? And there's a couple ways to look at it. 15-minute and 1 hour candles, when we're referring to that, that's going to be more immediate trades for more active day trading or a few day trades. You're really going to be in and out of a lot of those trades. Like Mode was saying, you're going to know if they work or if they're invalidated fairly quickly. When you're trying to get
Within
a
a
really,
couple hours. Yep.
yeah, on 15 minutes especially, if your
Yep.
15-minute trade isn't going the right way after 7 hours, it's probably a good indication that you can either get out or whatever, or wait for new signals to pop up. But so 15-minute and 1 hour are really for active trading. You're watching charts, you're seeing what's going on, where 4 hours and 1 day candles are for like the macro view. That's where you see a lot of like major support or resistance is going to be on the 1 day charts a lot of times. Like the $32,000, Bitcoin pump that we're expecting, or the $25,000 retracement that we're expecting. And so you can use these trading signals and these trading timeframes to really specify how you're going to trade. I personally don't have time to do a bunch of active trading right now, and so I'm only really using the 4 hour and the 1 day calls, because I know that I'm happy buying at those levels, and I'm happy using risk management, buying in if anything changes, and I don't mind sitting on it and staking my soul for a little while. And it's really not very active trading. We have people who live by the 15-minute candles. They are actively trading every day, involved and active on their computer, watching charts. And I'm going to say this too, it is definitely more geared towards experienced traders. As you guys who are just now learning start to see, 1 day calls are a really good opportunity for you to spot buy assets that you're bullish on. You know that there are good intervals to either buy in at or take a little bit of profit at. And so that's how I manage the assets that I want for a long time. And for me, that's like 3, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Now, when you move down towards 4 hours, those candles are still great for macro views. You can still get a general sentiment of the market. And they usually will take anywhere from a couple days to 1 week to really play out or get invalidated. I think that the shortest time frame I would recommend anybody even trying to get into would be the 1 hour if you're just now learning and you don't really have your risk management down. 1 hours are really, they're good for more active trading, but you still don't have to just sit and stare at a chart all day. Don't touch 15 minutes until you really get into your strategy and you know what you're looking for. And just one other thing too, while we're on this, is you can easily get lost trying to trade a bunch of assets all at once before you really know what you're doing. As you're learning, I do suggest picking, it sounds crazy, start with one asset. And for us, and what we'll be doing with Thordinals is fucking just look at either Bitcoin or Solana, and learn how to trade those time frames and learn how to trade just those assets. And you can see how the time frames really build off one another. I could be in a 1-day spot long, which I'm still at from $8. And now every time we get a 1-day short, I can take profits on that old call. I'm still monitoring what some of the short time frame action looks like, but I only really care about the macro calls. So, I hope that's not too convoluted or anything, but the key takeaways here are really trade on the macro time frames until you get it down, and keep watch of what Thor is suggesting and see if it follows suit on the shorter time frames. You'll see our 15-minute candles, signals hit 86% of the time. That's fucking awesome, when we're range trading especially. But that's not something that, if you're not actively doing and looking at, that you can really hit until you get your strategy down. So, start on 1 day and 4 hour, mess around and see 1 hours on the shorter time frame, and only really get your feet wet with like one or two assets.
Great advice for sure. And the 4 hour and the daily calls, because they are more of a macro view and longer term, they're going to have your bigger profit ranges as well. So the patience, and if you can see my chart here, here's a perfect example. We had Thor called for this daily short, and if you look at the range from entry to take profit, right? I'm going to go ahead. We'll measure this. That was 6.5% block right there, right? Now look at this 1 day, 1 hour. So this was the daily. Thor call from the daily. Here's take profit 1, right? Here's a 1 hour call. And there's entry. And there's take profit 1, right? So 1% versus 6% in these two calls. Now, what type of trader are you? This is exactly what Andy was just saying. Are you the type of trader that you need to look at the charts you can see this took days to play out. It was actually over a month. This call was made on Monday, the 15th of May. This call became active on, I'm hovering right, on the 13th of July. This call hit take profit 1 on the 24th of July. So it took almost 2 months for it to hit, and then it took a week or better to hit take profit 1. Where when you look at this 1 hour call, when we hit entry at the 14th, we hit take profit on the 14th. I mean, it was 6 hours later. So you see the difference in the time frame. If you were looking at trading this in a 1 hour time frame and trying to get the most out of these candles and calls, or if you're looking at your daily time frame and trying to get the most range out of these calls. So here's a perfect example of what the different time frames look at too. So let's just look at this section right here. I'm going to draw a little box around it. So this little section right here, price did nothing but go up. I mean, can anyone argue based on just looking at these two candles of the daily and information? Price did nothing but go up, right? Well, let's go look at a 15-minute. Let me find it here. It's going to take a second to load and get me to it because we shrunk big time. May have to go to the 1 hour, get to it, and shrink again. Charts take a minute to load while I'm streaming. Technical difficulties. Hold on.
Yo, man.
Yo.
Awesome work. Really, really insightful stuff that you're sharing, man. I love it. Am I right in thinking that, like, if we see a call come on, like, especially like on the 4 hour or 1 day, and like you've got your entry point in Thor and your take profits, that we could just set that when we see it and just walk away and leave it, and then when it hits those points, it will go into that trade.
100%.
Yes,
Sorry,
but
Mode.
you can't. Yes, 100%. But you can't do it on Thor. So that's one thing to be clear. You will have to go to whatever DEX you're using, whatever exchange you're using. That's how the manual calls work. Some people get confused, think you actually place the trade on Thor, and you don't. That Thor gives you all the parameters. Then you go use whatever decentralized exchange, Drift Protocol, Jupiter, exchange on the Frogs Fuck DEX, the Kira DEX. You can exchange on Binance, you can exchange on Coinbase, whichever you prefer. But yes, you can see those calls, figure out your risk management, your stop loss, your take profit, put the parameters in, buy here, sell here, and walk away. Yep.
I think that was YSD. And dude, like, I'll literally set trades and I'll just get email notification when they hit, and it could be like days or weeks later. And I'm just like, oh, cool, my Bitcoin order filled.
Okay,
You know?
yeah. So that was going to be like my next question. Is like, would you just, so as they come in, obviously, if your portfolio allows you to, you would just set them like as they come, and you might have 5, 6, 7 trades, sometimes on the same coin. You know, like you're talking about focusing on one coin. You could keep setting those trades as they come in and leave them for as long as they need to.
I may even have a 1 hour short set on Bitcoin and a 4 hour long set on Bitcoin. So I may have short trades and long trades both automatically set at the same time. And some people think, well, why would you be going short if you're going long? Well, I'm going short and taking profit at the target, and then I'm going long, managing my risk and taking profit at that point. And as long as you're doing that and managing your risk, yeah, you can set every call on each time frame. The
And
thing
so,
is just check up on them to make sure Thor did not see some change in price action or data to change its mind and invalidate that call. So, you may just like, if you got some daily and 4 hours set, maybe once a week, maybe look just to see if there's any new ones or to see if maybe it invalidated for some reason.
yeah, and so my next question would be like, what's the worst case scenario if, say, you didn't see an invalidation or it didn't go your way? Like, if you could tell me, like, worst case in spot and then worst case like in leverage.
Okay, worst case in spot, you buy Solana and the price goes down. That's exactly what happens. The price goes down, your Solana is worth less. That's the worst that can happen. Your Solana is worth less than it is. Now,
Yeah.
if let's say you have a contract with leverage, let's say, so if you have Bitcoin or Solana and price goes down 5%, it just means you have 5% less buying power with your Solana, right? We all understand. Kinda. Do you mind muting, please? I'll have to just mute them real quick.
Bro, we're
Right.
teaching some young traders on this one.
Right? Right? Fuck, what was I saying? I totally just blanked out now.
I can touch on one thing real quick too. That's like
Please.
one of the. This is so what YSE just brought up is like, okay, what happens if number goes down and I just bought? This is why when you start trading the assets that you're sentimentally bullish on, you don't mind holding. And if you're trading via spot, then you're actually holding those assets. And that is inherently valuable compared to when you're trading perpetuals and you just have a contract. You don't have anything to cash out. You can't use it for anything. You can't do anything else with it. But if you're buying spot, then you can fucking stake it. You can put it in Thor, the automated Thor. You can provide liquidity. You can actually use your tangible asset for something else, and unless it's like Bitcoin, there's not much you can do. So that's one of the reasons you'll find that higher, I don't want to say volume traders, but I think a lot of like heavy accounts are managed largely under spot because worst case scenario, they still have the asset and it usually at some point in time will come back. And I've been staking for 7%, during that time or whatever.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
So to kind of explain the risk, if you have Solana and price drops 5%, yeah, your Solana is now worth 5% less. If let's say you buy a Solana contract, 20x leverage, and it drops 5%, 5 times 20 is 100. That means you lost everything. You don't have Solana that's worth less. You now have nothing, right? So that's why, especially if you're bullish, if you believe Solana is going to go back over $200, you're not upset if you buy it at 25 and it drops to 20. That's when you DCA. That's when you dollar cost average, like we talked about. So you buy more Solana, now your average cost of Solana is less. So that's why Thor is like we talked about, it is a spot trader, not contract. You can use it for contract, but it is a spot trading protocol. One thing I want to get into before I forget what I was even talking about. If we look at this block, orange block here on the daily, price did nothing but go up basically, right? Price just went straight up. Now let's drop to the 1 hour and see what price did. Wait a minute, it shows price went down a couple times. There's some red candles in there. Price didn't just go straight up. Price went up, down, it balanced for a while, it went up, it moved sideways. There was other actions that you see. There was some red candles. There was places where Thor probably caught a short, or a retest. But when you look at it as daily, it's nothing but green candles in that sense, right? So are you trading the larger time frame or the shorter time frame is what it really boils down to. What do you have effective time for? To catch those teeny up and down moves and capitalize on them, or to capitalize when Thor says take a short and take profit, and take profit. So take profit 3 didn't fill out until the 17th of August on this, even though this call was made on the 15th of May. I don't care what type of trader you are. If you probably could have found some afternoon to look at Thor for 20 minutes over those 2 months. And if you did, you could potentially be holding 13% more Bitcoin now than you have before. I think everyone's got time for that. Not everyone has time to jump on this 15 or this 1 hour call that took profit 6 hours later, right? But when we look at 4 hour calls and we look at daily calls, let me remove these because they're from last week. We'll go over that. But for the 101 still, here's what we've got for Bitcoin right now with the Thor calls. As I showed you, there was a 4 hour long call. So the way I like to set my chart, there's my entry zone. I know if price gets down into this box, that's where I want to be buying. And everybody, you can do everything I'm showing you right here with a free version of TradingView. I have no indicators on here. The only thing I have is, I guess you call this an indicator, is an RSI, but I think you can use up to 3 indicators for free. This is just one. I believe you can set up to 3 alerts for free. So what I can do is I can draw a line. I can go up here and add an alert. Bitcoin, and I'm going to make this a 4 hour long entry. So now I'll get an alert that says, hey, Thor's telling me now you should be buying shit. Are you paying attention? Because if I'm not paying attention, at least I got that. That's also the beauty of being in the Telegram group, if you are not already. Being in the Telegram group, you just get those calls sent to you. Just ping, Thor's telling you to go buy something. Right?
I'm gonna drop some alpha. I'm gonna drop it. We'll
Alpha,
super quick
alpha Andy's here. I love it.
I want
Alpha
people to
Andy
know.
and AED Andy are my favorite.
Well, they're both here.
I love it.
You know, Mode's brought up a lot of pain points that we've seen time and time again, and we've got plans to address a lot of those. 2 of them are taking these calls within Thor. For the OGs, you guys remember Thor Desktop? You actually can take the trades directly on your desktop and tie it into your preferred exchange. We will be bringing that back. We've got some UI love that we're going to give it. The other part of this is that we're expanding, we're improving the Telegram trading channel. Right now, it's just saying, hey, X, Y, and Z is within the buy zone. You know, that then you got to hop on your fucking computer, go to your exchange. It's a big pain in the ass. So we will be having it where it will tell you the exact trade. It will be grouped by whatever tier that you fall into. And we will be building out or partnering with the Discord bot where you can say, take this trade, X amount of dollars, and it will be facilitated all through Telegram. So that's some future improvements that we have coming out. And it will help because right now it may feel overwhelming, like, oh, I got to go to this page to get to that page to go to the other fucking page. We get it. And yes, it is a bit of a pain in the ass. You know, crypto in general is not always user friendly. But we do have plans coming out to where it's going to just save time, increase productivity, and not have to go bouncing around all over the place.
How do you
Are we looking at Web 2 soon or Web 3 soon?
Web 2 soon. And sorry, I don't know who was talking. Annie, was that you?
Yeah, it was me.
Hey.
How do we get access to the Telegram?
So that is really easy. If you go into your Thor desktop or onto the website, there's a little Telegram button up at the top right-hand corner on that Thor website, and that it'll link you. It'll show you how to do the process.
Hey, Andy and Mode. I think this screen that you're showing right now is like super dope, and I don't know if it's appropriate for today's session, but I think showing what TradingView is, showing how to put an RSI on there, showing how to map this stuff out would be super helpful, especially for people that are like kind of get the general concepts but want to start progressing. So just a suggestion, and I'm not saying do it today, but maybe future ones would be a really good one to do.
Yeah, 100%. These are the charts we set up every week with each other, and I let people know exactly why each line is made, what we're doing with it. This is a trader 101, so we are keeping it a little light, but yeah, just to give an example, where we left off last week would be right here where this yellow dot is on Tuesday the 29th. And what we said is, hey, pay attention that let me move this to the 4 hour because we're looking at it on 4 hour charts. So right here was our Trader Tuesday session. And I said, hey, look, we've got resistance. So we've got this resistance line, and just hit resistance. Look, we're also maxed out on the RSI, which the RSI, let's just basically think of it as a FOMO meter. And when you're up here in the red, you're FOMO and topped out. When you're down here in the green, everybody's paper handed, right? So we went from everybody looked like they were paper handed, right? And we had a pump, but we got to where we were topping out and we were also seeing resistance at this level. We also had another resistance level that you could look at right here. Basically resistance, resistance, resistance. Then we broke through it and found support on it. Support, it became resistance, resistance, resistance. So we actually, and you can go back and look in the Tuesday Trader Review, I posted that chart and said, hey, this is where you want to be looking to take a short if we don't break this and find support. And write it down, and we could even potentially look at all the way down to this box here, because I think we're going to refill this zone that we blasted through. So I think price action is going to revisit here, and that is on our greater long-term support all the way from down here at $16,000. So we've been in an uptrend continually. And if we find support here at 23,000, we're still in a long-term uptrend, making higher highs and higher lows. So we called basically taking the short right here. Solana last week fucking played out beautifully for what we called it. We said everything was basically resistance or just noise until we broke out of here. We did break, and then we found a steep drop. And once we did, this zone that was support became resistance. And same thing, we hit here and we said, this is where you want to look to maybe take your short. This is where we said the RSI was kind of topping out, getting pumped. And with Bitcoin breaking down, we thought Solana would break down. And if we didn't hold this green and maybe continue down to this zone. And so far, we're doing exactly what we talked about, exactly what we called. We've broken down from here. We lost support here, which is 7%. We said take profit 1 here, but we broke down from that. We did find some support here at 11, but right now it looks like we are meeting resistance at our trend line and could continue downtrend further, potentially refilling this zone. Look to see what Thor calls. Right now, we don't have any calls for Solana, but my mouse froze. Come on. Did my mouse just die? Maybe. I hope not. Let me see if I can find cord to plug this fucker in. My mouse just died.
Way to go, bro. What the fuck, man?
Right? Way
Feels
to
good,
go.
man.
It's a good time
Total
for questions. Mode, while you're looking for that, I can answer any questions. I know that this is really designed to be Trader 101, and we are getting into some of the more, advanced lingo and processes. So if there's any lingering questions anybody has right now, it's a good time to ask. Annie, I hope you got into Telegram. We tagged you in the chat on this. And for anybody else who wants to get the Telegram notifications, that's the easiest way to do it.
Thank you. I saw the tag. I'm gonna do it after this. I don't want to be distracted. I actually have a question. Maybe it was answered, but I missed it. What we're looking at.
Oh, you rugged.
You're rugging. I missed your question.
Can you hear me now?
There we hear you now.
What we're looking at now, the TradingView, this isn't part of Thor, correct? Or is it?
We do have a trading
No.
view plugged into the website, but this is like the expanded version.
Okay.
And you can get this for free. So everything I'll show you. So on these Trader Tuesdays, we drew every one of these lines, every one of these boxes. Every one of these was done while we were here on stream together. And I don't touch them again until we are on stream here together. So you will get to understand, well, how did you come up with this line? Where did that come from? Where's this? We will get into all of that. I just kind of wanted to show we keep record from week to week of all the terms, all the trends. 1 week we spent a long time going over this, and we always refer back to this when it comes to analyzing trends. Come on, catch up. How to recognize an uptrend, a downtrend. What does it mean to make higher lows and higher highs? Series of higher lows and higher highs, higher low, higher high. That's an uptrend. When you see maybe a lower high, you've broken that uptrend pattern and you need to start paying attention. And if you make a lower low, now okay, I'm probably going in a downtrend. I've now made a lower high and a lower low. We get the break and we get the retest, and this is where I would potentially look to make my short. I've got my confirmation. I've made a lower high and I've made a lower low. Price is telling me we're no longer in this uptrend. And then see by what was a support line, we've broken. Again, all these are write-ups in the Trader Tuesday. And on a normal stream, we'll literally spend 2 to 3 hours just looking at charts, drawing these lines out, looking at where Thor made the calls, and how to read those Thor calls and what to do. For instance, what we're looking at right now is we have a 4-hour long here. And what I see from this is, especially if this hits soon, we could potentially have, let me move this to 4-hour because we usually break things down on the 4-hour chart. What I'm seeing from this is we've been in a strong downtrend, and we could have price action come down in here, fill our Thor call, do its thing, whatever, take its time, making higher highs and higher lows, hit the take profit, and still meet resistance. It doesn't mean we're going in an uptrend. All Thor is saying is if we hit this zone, we are going to retest this price, this zone. And if you look, where is that? Right? If we just draw a line, if we look at this was support, support, support. Then it became resistance and resistance. It tried to break through and it couldn't. Became resistance, resistance. So Thor is saying, hey, a lot of times we've tested this line. We probably will again. And what this looks like to me is if this 4-hour call does fill, this is a completely valid, reasonable call to me, especially within it still respects all of my trends. And I mean, this could blow through and go to fucking Valhalla. And if it does, great. Then you'll hit your take profit 2 point. Your take profit 2 point on that call. And then you do what? You wait to either find it, let it find support, let it find Thor make other calls, or you wait for Thor to pump up to this point and you get ready to take the daily short, right? But
quick
Thor
chime.
isn't saying. Go ahead.
So mode is really showing you what's happening behind the scenes when those Thor signals are presented. A lot of this is higher level trading analysis and technical analysis, and that's what these trading signals are taking into account whenever Thor presents them to you. And so what he's really doing is visualizing a lot of what's happening on the back end, but that doesn't have to be something that feels intimidating if you're just looking to use Thor signals. That's also why Trader Tuesdays are really fucking great, because mode can walk you through what's actually happening, how and why it lines up. And when you start to get these trading signals, at first it's just like, fuck it, trust it, I'm going to take this trading signal. And second, you can run what they call confluence. And that's really what Mode is doing right now, running through his own TA and then essentially verifying on his own, if the trading signal in his mind makes sense. So don't let it feel too complicated, is all I was saying on that front.
Absolutely.
I actually appreciate that because, like, I do get it. It's very complicated, but I understand that this isn't something I need to be like so good at because I'm just getting started. So I'm just
Exactly. The trading signals do all that for you, and the take profit 1, 2, and 3 levels, those are already pre-calculated using all of these things happening on the back end. It is still beneficial for people to learn this eventually, but it's not necessarily required for you to know how to use Thor signals specifically. So just throwing it out there, it can feel intimidating when we start talking about all this shit, but using Thor signals is all of this shit presented in a nice, pretty fucking enter and exit at these levels.
Absolutely. So here's what it looks like on Thor. You don't even have to have TradingView. Everything I showed you with TradingView, that is free. You can get that, do that, start to learn if you want. All you need to understand to be profitable is how to look at these Thor signals. So this is that 4-hour call we were just looking at. You need to understand your entry, your take profit points, and you need to understand risk management. What is your risk to reward ratio, and where should your stop loss be if you are using risk management trading? Or are you just saying, hey, I want to buy Bitcoin at a really good price. I don't want to buy it, if it's pumped right now. I want to buy it for the long haul. Then buy on the 4-hour and the dailies. But what you need to understand to be successful is your entry, your take profit, and your risk management. All the other trading, the stuff where I'm talking about of where I'm seeing support, resistance, this is all stuff I learned and used for trading before I learned Thor. Or knew about Thor before I met Andy. I mean, when I met Andy, I was like, this dude's fucking awesome. Let me see what the fuck he got. Oh shit. What? This is real. And this works. And when I line it up with my TA, this works. I understand this. And now, okay, so I'm muted. And now from week to week, you guys get to see how it works. And there are so many other calls in between here that aren't shown. I have the calls here that we talked about on stream, the trades that you could have made. It doesn't really help me to update the charts with all the trades that you could have taken and missed, right? The Trader Tuesday stream lets you know long term, okay, this week, what did we fill out from last? And what are we looking at going into next Tuesday, right? Um, and having all this shit, understanding what I do without somebody blowing up. Was it you got a question or are you hot mic?
No, that was my bad. I unmuted somebody who was hot micing.
Oh, all right.
We're just gambling. I'm just gambling on why they were hot mic'd.
Right. So yeah, this has really let me understand, and I've made several tweets where Thor will make a call, and I'll be like, "What in the fuck?" I I don't see price range revisiting that. And then like a week later, my own TA will line up with the entry and the Fibonacci's and the take profits, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" Thor called the entries and even the fib levels like fucking weeks ago when I didn't even see how price could visit there. Nuche, you're hot micing again, bro. Sick ass fucking frog. I love the orange and the armor and the fucking mask. We're bros.
Yeah, it was a super clean pool.
Dude, there are so many fucking cool ass frogs in here. I'm actually scrolling down looking at them all now because I had to see who was hot micing. Dude, there's some sick
I'm still getting used to seeing the Thordinals everywhere, but I love to see it. But
I know.
Yeah, so I just want to revisit, like especially for the Trader 101 stuff, there's a couple things that we have coming out. A lot of this that we're covering over voice, it's a really good opportunity for you to ask questions directly. We do have a like a text document and learning resource manual that we should be launching in the next few days. And it's essentially this and then easy to work through, go along your own pace, revisit these concepts, Trader 101. And then we also have a Thor 101 too. So if there's things that you miss within this conversation or how to use the interface or anything like that, there will be a tab on our website where you can go back and revisit this at any time. So just so you know, you can go back, and if you're not catching it all, just let us know and we can point you in the right direction. I'd say like 2 days or so. But the big thing here, and I just want to say this like fucking point blank, if you're really new to trading, trade Bitcoin on the 1 hour or the 1 day and the 4 hour trading timeframes. The biggest thing you're going to need to learn as a new trader is, emotional control. And it sounds so fucking cliche to say it, but it is the biggest aspect of this. Emotional control and patience. And you will learn those trading 1 day and 4 hour timeframes. And that is the best way to then not feel stressed in these trades, and then to see week by week what mode's doing and walking through how it's working out on the TA side of things. Really give yourself the opportunity to learn as you go and not have it be like really fucking stressful, because that is the way that all traders fail. All newbie traders go through the phase where they don't know shit. They get into an emotional trade, and let's just say it goes well, they do well. Well, they think that they know what they're doing, and then they go off and they get wrecked because they either don't follow Thor or, high leverage is the easiest way to get wrecked and stuff like that. So take it slow, one asset, 4 hour and 1 day calls, and just do one asset.
And on our streams, we pretty much just talk about the daily and the 4 hour, unless there happens to be a call while we're on stream or one that looks like it's about to hit right when we're done stream, we may look at the 1 hour or something if it's right there. But yeah, like Andy said, let's let it play out. There's no need to FOMO. There's no need to, be patient is what we want. Just be patient, and we'll revisit the charts next week. And if you have set your risk to reward and you set your take profits, everything's done for you automatically. You know what I mean? You really don't have anything to worry about. You're not going to miss out. There's always another trade. That's another thing to think about. I used to get mad at myself if this 4 hour hit and took profit and I didn't take it. I get upset. That's fucking stupid, because Thor's got this call, it's got this call, and it's got fucking so many other assets with calls, and it's going to print more calls maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Point being is there will always be more calls. So just, don't, again, not trading emotionally is you don't want to be upset. You don't want to be angry at yourself or the charts. It's all good. There'll be another call.
Hey, Mode.
Here's one. Go ahead.
Bro, this is super ADD Andy showing up. Did you actually get that fucking Thordinal? That's your PFP? Is that real?
Fuck yeah, bro.
Fuck you, dude.
Fuck yeah, seriously, man. Bro. Fuck you, man.
Yeah,
that was the last one to show up in my wallet. Like, I actually stopped, like I got a couple. I was like, oh, these are cool. They're pretty dope. And then I got a couple more, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then this was the last one to show up in my wallet.
That's like the coolest one I've seen, other than the one-on-ones, bro.
Yeah, save some fucking drip for the rest of us, man.
I know.
Fuck you.
God damn it,
Thank you.
So I said I got my homie down there, Nuche 57. We bros. I got the Bitcoin, he's got the sword, but we got that orange armor and mask going. It's a sick combo.
It must
be
this
nice. This is probably going to be Mode's PFP for quite some time.
Well, it absolutely fucks, bro. So good opportunity. Super quick, good opportunity to talk about why the fuck it is that you guys got Thordinals in the first place. What we're talking about here, and I don't know if it was covered earlier, and I'll be super quick, that we're talking about trading in between USDC. And I've talked about this on Spaces before, but there's literally no better time to be accruing assets, whatever fucking crypto it is. You got, the next, let's just say, year to 18 months, where we'll be trading up and down. Access to crypto-based trading pairs. So you're not trading Bitcoin against, US dollar. Like today was a great fucking opportunity to buy some Bitcoin with Solana. And that's exactly what I did.
Look at that breakout. This is, so talking about Thor's, we did start because people were wondering, well, wait, we get Bitcoin and we're looking at all the calls already with our Solana. So what's the difference? And we were explaining Bitcoin and Solana pairings, Bitcoin and ETH pairings. And just like Andy said, if we look at the chart between what Solana is doing and what Bitcoin is doing, look at this breakout right here, right? What do we have? Resistance, resistance, resistance. We refilled. Where's my? I see this as a zone of revisit because we just blew through price there. So I would have a zone there. We found support, 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 fell through. We're finding support in it, and we've broke downtrend. Now, to me, if we find support at a higher low, we could be looking to move up and continue making that higher low, higher high trend. And how we would establish that is after we make a retest. If we make a retest and hold a higher low, we will connect them and have a downtrend. But as Andy was just saying, if you're trading this chart, you're either making more Bitcoin or you're making more Solana. Forget the USD shitcoin. This is what Thordinals is going to open up. So you're always making more Bitcoin or more Solana off of this chart. What this chart is saying is my money best in Bitcoin right now, or is my money best in Solana right now? My money is not best in just money, right? My money, if you believe in crypto, if you believe especially that maybe the bear is starting to wind down, or we could see signs of going up, then you want to accumulate crypto, not dollars. So stop looking at this chart where you're trying to accumulate dollars, or you are using it to accumulate BTC or dollars. And you can look at this chart where you're accumulating Bitcoin or Solana or Bitcoin and ETH. You know, why make dollars? Don't you want more Bitcoin or more ETH? Well, then trade the Bitcoin ETH chart and pairing, not Bitcoin and US dollar and ETH and US dollar. Take your Bitcoin you have and your Solana you have and use it to either put that money in ETH if ETH looks to be leading the way and making bigger gains, or put it in Bitcoin if Bitcoin looks like it's going to be making the gains. If you believe in crypto, I don't see anything more powerful than accumulating the crypto assets you're bullish on consistently, accumulating one or the other.
And so this is a good time to revisit a previous question too. YSE asked earlier, you know, what happens if I buy spot and the trade goes the wrong way? And we said, hey, fucking liquid stake, or, you know, whatever, provide liquidity, whatever you feel like is the best use of those funds at the time. I prefer staking personally. This is another thing that Thordinals really answers. Let's just say that you've got some bags across the board, Ethereum, Solana, and Bitcoin. You know, those are the three I really push people to start out with. You can use Thordinals trading in between those assets that you already have to maximize the use of your funds, with the core focus being make more Bitcoin or make more Solana and Ethereum. And so that's another really powerful use of Thor and Thordinals specifically, is when we're trading against USDC. And if you have those assets, there's a lot of other things that you can do with it, including fucking intertrade it between other cryptocurrencies. So that's one of the things that I would really encourage people to do too, and why it's really advantageous for you as you're learning to pick a very select amount of assets that you're willing to trade, both against USDC and against Bitcoin. I know what crypto mentality is like. People really want that quick return. If you follow what we're saying, and if you take a fairly risk-averse trading strategy using Thor, it is the safest and likely, I don't want to say the best way, but it is one of Mode, you might have to help me out here. How do I say it where my lawyers will get pissed off at us? It's a very safe way to manage your portfolio. You know, and so pick the three assets you want. We're all here on Solana.
That
We all love
historically
Bitcoin.
outperforms staking. It's
There
a
you go.
safe way to manage your portfolio that has historically outperformed staking. And for those that don't know, some of the new updates, not only is Thor going to buy Solana and sell Solana, but it is going to, and it outperforms staking by doing so. But it's also going to start staking the Solana that it's holding and staking the USD that it is holding in between the time of trades. So it's going to, currently the way it trades outperforms staking, but it's going to trade the same way and use staking to outperform staking. If you don't see the power of fucking Thor it's hard to help you.
I think everyone.
I have a question.
Yo, hey man.
Hi. When I have a ordinal, I assume there is then a different auto trading bot, and I wanted to know which trading pairs is it used? Is it Bitcoin to dollar, or is it Bitcoin to Solana?
For the Thordinals automated contract?
Yeah. Yes.
So, man, you're really trying to get some alpha out of us, but it'll do both. It's all good. Yeah. It will do both. Bitcoin is the primary focus on that trading contract, which will be forthcoming. It won't be ready the day of mint. We told everybody that there's still things that need to be prepared, not even on our side, on Solana's side. But it will do both. It'll do Bitcoin US dollar, and it will also do Bitcoin interdependent on other cryptos as well. It won't really have any preference to the cryptos that it is trading against. Largely, it's based on what is available via trading volume and liquidity on the Solana blockchain. Bitcoin will be integrated into the original contract as well, though it will just be an aspect of diversification, and that one will not trade interdependent of other cryptos. So that one is going to be largely USDC based. I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, I think so. And I have another question. So, where can I trade Solana against Bitcoin? Because right now I have one wallet with Bitcoin and I have another wallet with Solana. But where can I trade Solana against Bitcoin? Yeah.
So generally, you'll find those pairings on centralized exchanges. So if you're manually trading your own portfolio, Binance has Bitcoin-based pairings. I want to say Kraken does as well. And the only ones that I know that
Coinbase has, I think Coinbase may have BTC ETH. Just some of the larger BTC pairings. But yeah, Binance and stuff will.
Yeah, and there's good volume over there too. So probably a good opportunity just to check in once again if anyone has questions. Mo, don't let me fuck up your flow, but I just like checking in.
Hey Andy, I gotta ask.
Yeah, perfect.
I gotta ask.
What up?
Why do you? What is the? How do I say this? What is the draw? Like, why do you have them split up? Why do you have the auto Thor for BTC, like Thordinals and Solana? If we are bullish on crypto, I see the advantage of the BTC Sol auto contract, but like, what is the draw to the auto Thor on Solana? That contract. Why would we want to do that versus
Yeah, a quick pitch you. So, this is only the formative stage of that contract, and that is the main contract that we're looking to scale. That essentially operates a DeFi on-chain hedge fund. We will integrate hedging into it, which is going to be a powerful component of the automation. And it's where we're developing the liquidity providing and yield generating deposits. The Bitcoin contract is meant to trade crypto against crypto. That's a very specific strategy, and that's a very specific person that appeals to. The Solana contract, the TAP contract, that is the broadest, most diverse investment strategy that we plan to scale and add to. So it does two different things. And that's one of the exclusive features that we wanted to release for Thordinals. We want people who are bullish on crypto assets, and Bitcoin. That's a really specific contract. The main contract is the set it and forget it, park it and leave it, hedge, liquidity provide, liquid stake, all of that good stuff that we've already started building out and some of which we haven't released yet. That is the main contract that we're scaling. We wanted the Bitcoin automation to be really an exclusive feature. The main thing, and one of the things that we really want to provide, is these learning resources so that people can also be using those manual trading signals to manage their own Bitcoin, obviously, like we've been talking about here.
Okay, all right, I'm digging it. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure maybe other people had that question as well, because it's like, man, I feel like this TAP contract is like the big deal, but then we're throwing in this BTC one, and we're saying, hey, if you're bullish on crypto, you want to go that way, but it's like, which one do you choose?
Here's another major thing to remember too, that right now anyone can interact with the contract. The contract being the Solana contract. They just need Kira. And when TAP is scaled out and people are interacting with the contract, they won't even know they're buying and burning Kira, but they will be. But anyone can use it, and we're going to get more and more TVL locked up. I don't know how much did we talked about the white label opportunities. I don't know if we have, but anyway, TVL is going to be increasing for this. However, the Bitcoin contract, only Thordinal holders will be able to interact with it. So that's one of the things that is going to make your Thordinal so much more exclusive and valuable. Is right now anyone can interact with the Solana contract. They just got to buy Kira, and some of that Kira is coming from holders that are selling it, making profits from their frogs they've had staked all this time. But the Bitcoin contract, you're going to have a Thordinal in order to do it. The other thing is diversification, right? You never want to have all your money in one place, right? Including, say, like Binance. What if Binance shuts down for the day, or for some reason you can't log into Binance for that day, or whatever? You never want all your eggs in one basket, as they say, and that means both maybe a single trade. You don't want all your portfolio into a single trade. That also means on single exchange or DEX or wallet. You shouldn't have just say everything on Phantom. Maybe you want a backup. Have some of it stashed away in Ledger. It's the same thing. Exactly what I'm going to do. And if I'm going to probably take some profits from the Solana contract and put them in the Bitcoin contract, potentially. We'll see how numbers are going, but ultimately, if I'm doing that, I'm taking my US dollars, earning more Solana, and then using that Solana to go earn more Bitcoin. Or more Solana, just more Solana or more Bitcoin. But it's the step up from what the automated contract's going to do for me on Solana.
I can just give like my personal thing too. I use the USD based pairings if I run like perpetuals contract. I don't take my profits in USD. Like I'll settle the trade in USDC, and then I instantly go into using that profit to buying assets that I want. That's usually Bitcoin, right? For me, it's Bitcoin and Solana. And so I can now put those profits basically into the automated contract. We wanted the automated contract to be the icing on the cake for the Thordinals collection. The manual trading signals are already really fucking powerful, but the automated contract is literally just icing on the cake. This is the next degree of personal portfolio management, and then an automated tool to help you manage that once you're ready to just set it and forget it. So, Mode did cover it quickly, that the TAP contract is what we're looking to scale, and that's the big one. The Thordinals Bitcoin trading contract is literally just an exclusive ass fucking tool that we didn't want to release into the public. But we did so because there's a huge value to it, for your profit, for your crypto assets that you're holding, or if you just want, self-regulated trading for crypto to crypto trading.
Yeah,
Here's
go for
it. Was Thor still available during the initial rug?
No, it was not. There was not shit available during the initial rug. I started with nothing, man. So
originally the project just began with the original frogs, and then the rug happened, and then you came in with the team, Sile, Mode and everyone else and implemented Thor afterwards.
Correct. And those of you who are new, Thor has not been, it's not a new product. It's not been around just for a year. Thor has been in use for over 12 years. It was the way that Sile and his business partner managed their own portfolios, as well as a hedge fund over where they're located. And we've brought it on chain. So it's not this new thing that we're introducing into the wild for the first time in its life. We have brought it on chain, we've made it decentralized, and then we've opened it up for a utility for the cyberfrogs.
No, it's beautiful.
I have a question about Auto Thor. You know how it tells you like what initial USDC you started with? Does it also tell you what was the initial SOL you started with?
It doesn't
yet. Now it does not.
Yeah, there's a lot of UI improvements that we need to make on the Thor contract side of things that we're really aware of. One of those is showing how it outperforms the market based off of the asset, in this case Solana. We want to show how much Solana that you originally started with and how much that's increased over time, and then also have the reflection in terms of USDC, because there's something. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Like what Solana you started with and how much it's increased, because it only shows the USDC value, but doesn't show what SOL I started with.
Totally. Exactly. Once we're done with Thor,
it's not representative at all, because in my opinion, because if we go down here, Thor is just straight fucking buying, right? Thor is preparing to sell. So if you look at the USDC value, in my mind, you're selling out at what Thor may think is close to a bottom, or at least a temporary bottom, where it's about to soon take profits, because Thor's been steady buying. So yes, maybe USD value is a little bit lower. Mine's actually break even on this contract right now. I'm like down like near nothing, 0.9. But that doesn't represent my buying power. It doesn't represent, hey, Thor is stocking up, ready to sell and fire the fuck off here in a minute. So I absolutely agree with you.
Super quick, Annie, if you go to my Twitter, I have a pinned tweet at the top of my profile that's shown my personal capital in Thor and what it's done over the last 180 days. You can see the SOL equivalent that I started out with in terms of USDC, and also the increase in Solana as my asset versus the USDC value of it now. So in the course of my time using the Thor contract, I've had a 12% increase in Solana. And at the time of that post, it was 28% USDC profit. Obviously, with the dip and all that good shit, it's changed a little bit, but that's what fucking trading is. So the amount, when we keep saying that Thor outperforms staking, that is one of the metrics that we are going to visualize much more effectively, because with the same amount of USDC, or relatively the same, plus or minus a couple percent, we now have an increase in 12 to, I think at this point, 14% Solana by USDC value. So with the same amount of cash that you put in, after 180 days, I have 14% more Solana than I had when I started, and essentially the same amount of USDC at this point. And so that's what we're referring to when we mention, the outperforming of staking. Staking is 6.98 to 8% right now. And within 180 days, we've had a 12 to 14% increase.
And that's the buying power that you've stocked up. It's showing that your contract may be flat, but it is far from flat when you look at the assets you have and the buying power and the potential. And that's another thing I pay attention to also for longer term trading or DCAing. Is what is Thor doing? If Thor's taking profits consistently, then I'm probably looking at this may not be the best time to make an entry. But when I see Thor is doing nothing but buying, man, that kind of lets me know if my money's not in the auto contract, if I'm manually trading Thor or manually trading Solana, maybe this is a time where I should be looking to DCA too, between $19 and $21, because Thor was buying up between 19 and 21. And you see, we're still in that range, and we are starting to kind of flatline. And if we break resistance, we can move. But that's a pretty good gauge for me when Thor's steady buying. And like
And
Andy
just
said, his contract may look close in USD value, but would you say 12 to 14% more Solana holding now?
yeah, the in USDC comparison. But I do just want to take an opportunity to address that we know that the UI needs a ton of improvement. We've actually hired a website developer to rework and reframe that entire process and how our interfacing looks. At the same time that we want you knowing what the USDC value of your portfolio did within that time, we want to also reflect the Solana holdings by USDC comparison. And we need to visualize your IMSOL staking rewards. And on top of that, as we roll out, because we have a new function that we're going to be rolling out here in the next couple of days, is the first portion of the liquidity providing. So you're not just going to be sitting in dead USDC, just sitting there. We will be stablecoin liquidity providing as well. So all of these things that have either yield generating deposits or interest generating deposits on top of what the trading portfolio is doing, all of those will be visualized, and we have an entirely new dashboard coming.
So basically, whatever the smartest shit for my money to be doing at that microsecond, Thor will be making it happen.
Yeah. And again, for those of you who are just catching up, it's not TAP or the Thor contract that needs improvement in terms of diversifying into other assets. That's not the problem. That's already ready to go. There's not liquidity of these assets on Solana blockchain. The DeFi volume on Solana is fairly low. And so we've been restricted to primarily automating trading on just Solana. And that's why we're finding some interesting ideas in terms of what we're going to be doing next. And, providing the access to more liquidity for different assets. We need to be trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Kusama, Near, all of these things that the Solana DeFi ecosystem can't really facilitate for us right now. There's a lot changing on that front, and there's a lot of room for expansion. Let's just say that much.
So essentially, what you're saying is right now we're stuck trading Solana and USD because that's what the volume is. But when Solana gets its shit together, which we are seeing some improvements, we do have some hints about Fire Dance and some other things, that the contract will be ready to trade all of this and not. So whichever trade is ready to fire and whichever trade gives the biggest reward versus risk at the moment is what it'll be trading, not just Solana.
100%. And here, I don't want there to be smoke and mirrors or any of that hype, like speculative bullshit. Our plan is to take Tap Contract cross chain and make it an interoperable protocol, and to where you can interact with Thor and Tap Contract utilizing cyber frogs on whatever fucking chain that it is to trade on Ethereum DeFi or BNB DeFi. And so these are problems that we're already ahead of and addressing internally. And we want Tap Contract to be interoperable, just like you're seeing decentralized exchanges like PancakeSwap. There's a little button that you click, and it will toggle between different chains and providing access to different amounts of liquidity. The most feasible chain for us to expand to next, in my opinion, is BNB. Also, Ethereum for some of the new DeFi protocols that are coming out. Those are where you see a lot of the volume at. tap contract on BNB or Ethereum, we can trade all of these assets. You know, the thing about why we built this on Solana in the first place is that it is so fast that we can make sure that we're having, you know, our orders executed lightning fast and within the tolerances that we've assigned. Binance and Ethereum both are way fucking slower, and we will maximize them to the best of our ability. We will make them as beautiful as they can be on those chains, and we will instantly open up, you know, billions of extra dollars that are being actively traded on other chains. So just so everybody knows, that's the plan. And frogs won't always just live on Solana. There's your alpha. And I'm not trying to turn this into a fucking shill session either. I want people to know that. But when it comes to trading and when we're talking about like what the automated protocol actually does, the limitations that we're experiencing right now are from Solana DeFi. Our code, our process, our trading strategy, all of that is ready to go. And we can apply these outward and in the same process expand not only the CyberFrogs ecosystem, but TAP as a whole. And so I'm really pushing for us to have expansion into the BNB blockchain by Q2 2024, which seems like it's a really far way out, but we have a lot of work to do. And after that, I'll be targeting Ethereum as well. And so if Solana gets to a point where the DeFi volume is happening on Solana, we're ready for it. Hell yeah, that's great. That work is done. If it doesn't, we're not really looking to sit around on our hands and wait for that to happen. We will take what we know works and apply it to somewhere where it can facilitate that.
Love it. I mean, if people
Andy with
really
Alpha.
understand, yeah, if people really understand what Thor did, you'd understand a frog below 180 bucks or what is it? Yeah, whatever is fucking free. What people even pay for to be in degenerate shitcoin trader, alpha group like that, or you know, not to talk about myself, but even trading sessions and calls like we give on these Tuesdays, like what you pay for this in either a Patreon or you know something like that, a subscription model, what you get for holding just a frog. The community and everything is its own aspect, and then there's the manual Thor, and then the auto Thor. Like there's just so
Real
many
quick, I don't mean to
aspects
cut
that
you off,
people
Mode.
about.
I just want to expand on the service, the aspect that you were just mentioning. For example, a friend of mine was paying $200 a month for this like trading academy service, and essentially he was just throwing money down the toilet every month. So, you know, to those on here that, you know, are not too privy to other services, this is as the cream of the crop.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that, man.
Literally before I heard about cyber frogs through Mickey, I was looking at like different ways of learning how to trade, and one of those things you just mentioned, like they're charging like 1,500 USD up front for people to join, and then there's like a monthly fee, something that I don't know. And I was about to do it, and something in my gut was like, this feels very scammy, and it feels like it's not going to go. Literally, like, I think the same day or like the next day, I started learning about frogs, and I was like, this is way better. Why would I throw away my money like that when I can learn
Frogs fuck.
Frogs fuck. Let's fucking
Frog
go.
fuck. That's why, yes.
Frogs.
Yeah. So, you know, like, and thank you. Like, we can't thank people enough for supporting it. And look, my whole thing is like,
Yeah,
we have a
that
tool
means
that
a
can
lot.
make investment back. You know, like I love what we're doing, and I love that we can facilitate learning of trading. And, you know, that's really our core focus at this point. The automated protocol is big and beautiful and fucking huge on its own. And it's still stage one. We want our community to get these tools for as cheap as they'll ever be able to get them moving forward, because we're going to take everything cross chain and increase it, because no one on Solana, there's not very many people who care about trading on Solana. So we found most of them, and y'all are all Cyberfrog holders now.
That's one of the things I realized, like getting into NFTs a couple years ago. And even when you guys first hosted the first live stream, when I was on here and I mentioned I had no trader background, even though I used that automated trading bot, that was a scam. It's the amount of info you get here is just priceless, dude.
I appreciate that, man. I try to, and that's why we want to do the Trader 101. And I know we did get a little bit deeper into some stuff, but I don't ever want to make it overcomplicated and start to lose people and make it seem more complicated than it is, because realistically, if you just have a very basic understanding of how to look at entry, how to look at exit, how to use risk management, you can be successful even without looking at the charts. But looking at the charts and deciding which ones may be the ones you find more profitable, or that big short that we called last week that I don't even know what percentage it's printed by now. That wasn't a Thor call. It was just something that I looked at, and then we as a group went over and reviewed and said, look, resistance, 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 resistance. We hit a take profit point. We could look at it going continuously lower here. Here's what we want to look for to take that short. Here's what we want to wait for if we break that support, So we do get kind of deeper into the charts and the understanding sometimes, but I try to review it so deeply that it almost to a point of redundancy sometimes, so people really do understand it, because we don't want anyone to get lost. We want to provide the information, and really Thor is a tool, and like any tool, I can give someone a hammer and they could build a beautiful house. I could give someone a hammer and they could destroy a fucking house. What is their skill level, their risk management with this tool that they now have access and power with? Where do they put it? So we just want to show you how to use the tool properly, and it really takes the hard part out. You more so have to just manage yourself, which honestly is often the hardest part of trading, is managing yourself, managing your emotions, managing your thought process, and more so your reactionary process. That's the big thing. Like I started the stream, we talk about patience. Well, we all get those impatient thoughts, but do you have the impatient reaction, or do you have the patient reaction? Managing yourself is the hard part. Let Thor do the rest. Manage yourself, manage your risk, let Thor manage your money. I think that's not financial advice. That's just something to do more research on, and you may want to then take as financial advice. But
you learn how to use Thor. Thor is a tool, and one of the best resources that we have is the community of traders. Even if you're not in the Degenerate Shitcoin Traders channel, you can still use Neo Tokyo Wastelands, and there are active traders and people who are looking at the same Thor signals you are, and you can talk through your trade. You can do the most fundamentally important part of trading, which is planning your trade. And you can do that with a community of people, from novice who is in the same, skill set that you may be starting out in, all the way up to the motherfucker who literally coded Thor, Sile. You will never get a straight answer from Sile. So if anybody ever if you tag Sile, one, try not to do that. But if you ever ask him or any of the other master level traders, you're going to find that they'll prompt you with questions to help you make the decision on your own and maybe coax you along, but use it. Use the people. We got Xander in here who prints fucking daily using Thor. You can ask him what he's looking at. He or she, I don't know. I don't want to misgender you, sorry. But ask them what they're looking for. What signals are you eyeballing? If they feel like sharing it, they will. Charge it to the boss.
Yeah, our homie Charge. Yeah, Charge has a channel. Sile
Literally
has a
in
channel.
Discord every day. If you have a question, the best way to do it is to ask the question. Don't sit around wondering what to do. Just ask a fucking question. Hey, I'm looking at this Solana call. Should I take this? What are you guys thinking? Hey, Mode, was this covered on Trader Tuesday? We'll tag you in one of these channels and we can show you, what some of the TA recommends. And it's one of the most valuable aspects of this whole thing is the community of people using the same tool that you are. Some of you are trying to learn a new language. Trading is a different language and it helps to practice. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And I think that the biggest thing, again, is focus on one or two assets. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't overload yourself and take it slow.
I am going to talk about, just because we were talking about degenerate shitcoin traders and Neo Wasteland, and we are a trading community. Where is he? Rumpty still got the bazooka, still got the original frog, not Thornton yet. I dig it. The fucking bazooka, please. I dig it. So Rumpty on a stream asked about Ecomi. OMI is the ticker. OMI. And we were literally right here. You can see that Tuesday, the 15th. We called that as a top with the yellow line and said buy back after it breaks it. You got that buy zone here. So that was what? That was 20% right there. Then we said there's a take profit 1 and a take profit 2, which I know you barely took profit at. What's this? 12%, and then 18%. I know you barely took profit there. And then we got in here, and this was on Tuesday right here. And this is where I said, man, that could be a potential head and shoulder setup. If we don't see a higher high here, take your profits. Did you take your profits there?
Fuck yeah, I did.
Did it? So we got to measure this out. So I'm
waiting for my re-entry at this point.
Yeah. And here's where we said your buyback zone region should.
Yep, I got the buy order set.
Perfect. Amazing, dude. So, and look at the RSI. Look at this RSI line we predicted. This line right here is where we predicted the RSI to kind of ride when we saw the FOMO meter top out. And when you see the FOMO meter top out and a blow off top, if you don't see that higher high, man, if you see a lower high, you're probably looking at lower lows. And look at that. We're already at the lower low, making that. So we're going to update this just by putting a simple downtrend line. And this is what we'll do each week with whatever assets we're talking about or reviewing, and, see how they play out. And I'm glad this one played out well for you, dude, because those are big wins.
I mean, that's a testament to you. I just took the emotion out of it and made the trades, and then now I just set the buy and just let it do its thing.
I'll be honest. I'm a better analyst than I am a trader. I am better at looking at charts and understanding price than I am at managing myself. And if you knew me in real life, you'd probably understand I'm way better now, but I'm kind of a fucking wild man. And
nah. I don't believe that.
Self-preservation isn't always on the highest of my list in the shit I do. Let's just say that. It's just not. But we're also looking at, we have the longer term support there, and we got the break. And if we were looking at what then? The break and the retest. And if we've got the break, and if we then make, come on, chart, catch up with me, the retest that doesn't make the higher high, right? That could even come all the way up to here for retest without making the higher high. Get ready for that lower low, bro.
Yeah.
You know, it'll probably not be quite that steep. It'll probably be more something like that. But whatever. You get what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to get more, and that's essentially what I've done with those
well
trades.
Played, and just watch if it starts to dump hard. Just watch the FOMO meter to see if we get into that dumped range instead of that pumped range. But well played on that one, homie.
Hey, I had a quick
Man,
question.
I think this
Sorry,
has been
sorry to
this.
interrupt.
Oh, please go ahead.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, quick question. So for the Thor software and everything, the auto software and then there's the manual one. Are you able to run it at the same time? Like, let's say you have a Thor one going. You know, are you able to do like trades off of the same account, or or would you have to just do a whole nother frog or a new wallet?
So,
are you talking about using manual signals while you're participating in the contract?
Yeah.
No, everything's non-escrow right now.
Yep, they're separate. So, well, I mean, you can have it all in one wallet, but having a manual contract open in no way affects logging into Thor manual. In fact, you want all your frogs in the same wallet because then you unlock higher tiers, you unlock more pairs, and you also reduce your taxes on your frogs or on your profit on your auto. So
Alpha Andy
that
is here. Alpha Andy is here in full tonight. So we're going to change it from non-escrow to locked staking as we start expanding out to other blockchains. If you want to participate in the automated contract, that will be an escrowed service. What we're going to do to fix that for our, it's all about benefiting you guys and giving you access to everything. We will do a locked staking contract that if you lock, your specific amount of frogs in it for whatever period of time you choose, you'll get access to both of them. So you can really put your frogs where you find the most value in our protocol or in our manual trading signals or fucking both. Just sort of like Geckos does locked staking. It gets around some of the legal barriers that we need to get around while we're emitting coins to you guys that have a monetary value. And at the same time gives you access to both of the things that you want. So if someone comes in and they just have a single frog, they can do the manual signals or the automated protocol, or they can stake it and get access to both. So that is a big change that we have coming up, I'd say at the end of this year.
Oh, very cool. Okay, awesome. Thanks for the info, dudes. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no thing. I'm in just like radical transparency mode tonight. So if y'all have questions, this is the time to ask them.
Dude, I mean, look, Frogs Fuck,
I love it.
Thor's printing, our calls have printed, we're getting kick-ass Thordinals in our fucking wallet. The mint is tomorrow. What's not to be hyped about? Just drop some extra fucking alpha. And I mean, this is what the Frogs community is about. This is why, look, to sum up this whole Trader Tuesday and everything else, I will just say Frogs Fuck. Right? If you haven't got that yet, I don't know how else to help you.
Frogs fuck. Probably a good time just to ask one more round if anyone has any pending questions. If there's any like small, even like, hey, where do I find the Trader Tuesday chat? If there's anything, just pop it into the chat channel or just, you can ask on voice or whatever. But a good chance to just run through one last round of questions.
Yes, please, 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 guys, check out, and girls, whoever, check out the Tuesday Trader Review. I create these things and present them in the way and the order that worked for me, I guess, for things to click together. And I think, so far the response with the people that have been on stream for these Trader Tuesdays, it has helped them learn the process without it being overwhelming. It's helped them understand it, not just confuse it more. So review those Tuesday traders. And again, you can even look at the charts and see what we predicted, what we called, the write-up of where we ended the stream. What was Thor predicting, and which calls were we looking at taking, and why? Andy, you said this before, and this is a good way to kind of end this, and a note to remember. Price will go up, price will go down, price will go flat to the right. The only thing you ever know is price action isn't going to go left, right? That's the only thing I can promise you in price action, is it won't go left. So you need to be prepared for if it goes up, if it goes down, or if it just goes flat. What is your preparation? Again, trading is managing risk and finding yourself on the right side of probability, using charts, using indicators. And I went over this last week. We touched on indicators, what they were, and several different kinds, and ended with what is the best fucking indicator, right? The best indicator out of all this time of trading that I found has been Thor. Thor has been the best fucking indicator that I've found by far. It tells you where to make your entry. It tells you where to take your profits. It helps you with your risk management. Determine if you're going to use a stop loss and continue to use that kind of just a strictly trading account, or are you using it to DCA and buy in spot? And, you're not really concerned if you buy Solana at 20 and it drops to 18 if you believe Solana is going back to 200, right? Or even if you believe it's going back to 30. It doesn't matter quite as much. So maybe you're not going to use a stop loss. But if you are, Thor gives you the little RM button, the risk management tool down there, that will help you determine, based on whatever your risk tolerance is, whatever your profile size or portfolio size is, to manage that risk. And with Thor and good risk management, you can find yourself managing your risk and take profit on the profitable side of probability. And that's what trading boils down to. And I haven't done the math, but someone was saying if you start with $1,000 and compound only 3% interest a day, it's close to $1 million in a year, or over $1 million. Someone should do the math on that. I'm not fucking going to. Hope I'm not talking out my ass. Point being, small gains, smaller losses, those small gains add up to big rewards. And Thor helps make that manageable and easy to understand for even the basic person that doesn't even understand charts yet. But we will review charts on Trader Tuesday each week to help you understand maybe why did Thor make this call? Or, we had a call. Well, Thor's calling for 3 shorts way up high. Why isn't it calling along? Well, it's not necessarily confident it is going to pump up to there, but if it does pump up to there, it's confident where it's going to retest to, and we, sometimes we're actually able to play out the long, take profit at those shorts, and play the shorts as well. There's many ways to use the hammer. There's many ways to use the tool of Thor. Like I said, you can use a hammer to do a whole lot of different shit. It's a tool. We're just teaching you how to use Thor on use risk management and be on the profitable side of probability. I think this is a good time to end. Shit, we've gone almost 3 hours at this point. I know I went in a little deeper than I actually planned to for just the 101 session, but that's just kind of how shit goes. You know, it's how I roll.
Always a good
We're gonna
refresher.
get deep in it. Yeah, next week, if you join Trader Tuesday, we'll do a quick recap on some stuff, and then we'll spend a couple hours literally looking at different charts, drawing the different lines, deciding what we think of this call that Thor made, seeing what calls are active through all those different ones. You know, I'll log into Thor Pro. We'll go through and see what's active on a bunch of different assets, show you the power of Thor Pro instead of just the original Thor you unlock with a frog. Yeah, man, I greatly appreciate, I really do, really do appreciate all you that join in, especially you guys that come each week, especially you guys and girls that interact and ask questions, because that's how I know how to help you understand it better and make my time and your time more valuable. And my time is fucking valuable, right? And that's literally why I became a trader, is because my time is valuable and I want my time to be my time and working for me and not someone fucking else. And Thor helps me get that time back. It helps me not work and stare at the charts as long and fill all those lines out to determine where my next entry might be, when Thor can do it for me. So I hope everybody found this as a valuable kind of 101. And we're going to close it up unless somebody has some direct questions. I'll go over charts a minute if people got questions or anything else we talked about. If there's something you got a question, don't hold back. Fire away.
No questions. I just want to say thanks again, Andy, Mode, to ask for a better session. You know, these are always fruitful, and fucking can't wait for tomorrow's mint. Just bought some more Bitcoin.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, it's gonna be a good day. Thordinals, let's fucking go.
Oh yeah, GG's, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Cheers, brother. We'll see you tomorrow.
No doubt.
Appreciate
Anybody
you,
else
Mode.
got questions? And dude, I greatly appreciate you joining and being active each week, man. And I'm glad you are finding value. I greatly appreciate you, bro. Anybody else?
I got one last statement personally. There's a bunch of key takeaways here for the new traders. It's take it slow. It's don't trade fucking 15-minute candles. It's to talk to your community and to get familiar with the Thor UI, learn how to navigate it, and that's going to make a lot of these conversations moving forward much easier. If you do need a refresher course, like Mode said, we're going to be doing these once a month. The first Tuesday of every month, this is going to be a time for you to come in and refresh. Use Degenerate Shitcoin Traders or Neo Tokyo Wastelands if you have questions in between. Don't be afraid to ask questions at any time. You see a call that you're wondering about, go ahead and talk to the community. We're all here doing the same damn thing you are. You know, myself and Mode and Sile and everybody included. So just use what's available to you, and that is the community and Thor and the learning resources that we have coming out. Plan your trade your plan. That's it. That's all you got to do. Fuck emotions. Don't stare at fucking charts all day. You know, unless you're like hardcore 15-minute trader, but I expect that to be after you have some time under your belt trading. And learn the hardest component about all of this, which is controlling yourself. And if you follow these steps and if you take it slow, like we're suggesting, that's the easiest way to do it. If you're just now learning how to trade, I will recommend every single time to learn how to trade using spot. Buy the asset, sell the asset, rinse and repeat. You just saw a 20% trade that we were talking about earlier that is just a spot trade. When you get to where you are a little bit, I think, more experienced, we can start talking about perpetuals and leverage and all of that good stuff. But the easiest way for you to wreck yourself is to hop into stuff that you don't really have that high level of comfort in yet. And so trade Bitcoin, trade Solana. Don't even fucking look at anything else until you're like, all right, I got this. I've learned my strategy. I've learned how I like to do it. Now I can either look into perpetuals or expand into a different asset class or pool or add a different asset that I'm trading. I I'm an active trader. I've been trading since 2013. I literally, my bags are 5 coins, essentially, for my cryptocurrency assets. Those are the ones that I actively trade. Yes, I will go out and randomly buy shit coins whenever Sile or Charge is like, yo, dude, this is going to fucking rip. Go buy coins. And I'll fucking just buy it and then sell it. Just master, and you can be a profitable trader on literally just trading Bitcoin or Solana, though. Don't overwhelm yourself.
And those are the only assets that those are the only assets that I'll do the charts and reviews of each week, is because those are the ones we should be focused on. The 4-hour and the daily calls for Bitcoin and Solana. And I really think you're not only doing yourself a service by going to look back in the Tuesday reviews, but I think you are doing yourself a disservice not to. Just like you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not looking at the Thor calls. Yeah, I'll update these charts and I'll post them tomorrow morning since we didn't get to review real deep. But congrats on anybody that took that short that we talked about last week. You're somewhere around 6 to 7% on Bitcoin. And if you took that Solana short that we talked about right here in this box, and you can see we never even broke that very short term resistance line we had drawn. We said, man, if we don't break that, we're dropping. And you could have taken profits easily at 10%, even down to 12.5 to 13%. And we're still looking at the break and the retest, so it looks like we could actually update our downtrend line just kind of a little like that. But I'll update these charts as usual, give a write-up. Please check them out. Frogs Fuck, tell everybody about Thordinals, and I really, honestly, 100% do hope you guys mint one even more kick-ass than mine, but mine's...
Yeah, fuck you, Mud.
Yeah.
I'm
He's
missing
said
that
what everyone was thinking.
Dude, that is such a cool frog, bro. Fuck.
It is, dude. It is.
It's like literally perfect.
I don't even know what all the traits on it are. I just know it fucks. Like, I don't even know what
fucks. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'll just say,
and I see other armor that doesn't have the X. So,
bro, the Necromancer is still out in the wild, and I have an open offer for anyone who mints that motherfucker. Just DM me, okay?
I'm gonna fucking mint. Just watch. I have one whitelist. I'm gonna mint one, and it's gonna be that, and you can all fuck yourselves because frogs.
Please slide in my DMs with that Necromancer, all right? Like, I will make it worth anybody's time. If you fucking mint that thing, please hit me up. I want that thing. I'm gonna tattoo it on. Or I'm just gonna tattoo your fucking PFP on me anyways, and I don't care if it's weird.
Hell yeah.
That's fucking happening.
Frogs fuck.
Frogs do fuck.
And he's already got frogs fuck. I mean, on the middle finger. I mean,
tattooed
where would be more appropriate
on there. Yeah. I couldn't
Fucking
spell
right.
out frogs fuck because I'm trying to obviously get in front of institutional investors, like some pretty serious names in the crypto space. So I don't want to be like, yeah, frogs fuck tattooed on my knuckles. But capital FF is tattooed on there because frogs do fuck.
Yeah, so frogs fuck. Yeah, exactly.
So Mode, I know you're trying to wind this down. Did you by chance cover any of the like trading hit rates for the last month?
No, dude, if you've got those analytics, please. And that is something I do want to start preparing for each week, is just how many Thor calls were kind of made that week, how many Thor calls were profitable, because again, I'm not filling in these charts with every call. I'm filling in these charts with calls that we could take while we are active together, right? So if you only have that one day a week and you choose it to be Trader Tuesday with us, these are calls you could take part in. So please hit us with the fucking data of what you could really get into if you're putting your time into looking at the manual calls on your own?
So I'll do the 3 assets that we track. Primarily, it's going to be Solana, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. Though we are building out a script to check every asset. Last month on Bitcoin, we had a 77% hit rate across all 4 time frames. On Ethereum, we had a 68% hit rate across all 4 time frames. And on Solana, I said Bitcoin, Ethereum, and then Solana was 82% on Solana calls. We were murdering the 15-minute and 1-hour calls. You'll get a lot of 15-minute calls.
80%.
I mean, dude, it's unreal. And that's why people always, when we tell people this in spaces and shit like that, and y'all hear me and I say, yo, don't fucking trust me. Go and talk to the people using it. It's really like unbelievable levels of efficacy. And so we do look at a trade as successful if it hits entry zone and then it hits at least take profit level 1. We classify that as a hit. And those numbers are absolutely fucking insane. If you told anybody them, they'll think that you're full of shit. So if you're talking to your friends about it, if you're sharing that information, tell them the same fucking thing. Don't believe me. Go and talk to the hundreds of other people that are using it actively. Degenerate shitcoin traders and tons of people just in the community. And same thing for the automated protocol. There is on-chain data to support what we're saying. 12 to 14% increase in Solana. The same relative protection of capital from when you first invested 180 days ago when Solana was $33. Now it's $20. I have the same amount of USDC that I had right then, and I have 14% more Solana. So, it's really impressive to say these high hit rates. Don't expect anyone to believe you when you tell them in any form or fashion. I don't give a fuck how close you are to the person. 99% of the time, if you tell them something like this within crypto, the immediate reaction is, that's bullshit. That's why we're doing these Trader Tuesdays. That's why we're getting people really up to scruff, because you guys are really our best form of efficacy. Y'all's personal experiences are what's helped our project grow. And us giving you access and resources to learn how to use these tools is in your best interest, and it helps the project. I say this constantly when I'm on the spaces. I'm on the spaces. What am I, fucking 50? When I'm on spaces, it's go and talk to Mode, go and talk to Deuce, go and talk to Nam, go and talk to, AD from Leveraged Labs, who also runs a fucking trading group.
Mr. Stop Loss printed 800% in one of his first couple months using Thor.
But don't go into it thinking you're going to do the same if you're a newbie trader. Mr. Stop Loss is like...
but it's just he knows how to use the tool. And it's a tool that when he's a master at wielding that tool, obviously. Like, he could build a sculpture with a hammer where most people would create rubble. But the point is, it is an absolutely powerful tool. And what did we say trading is? Finding yourself on the profitable side of probability and managing risk. And at 82% hit rate for Solana, man, obviously that's a high probability. And if you're managing your risk to where your losses are incrementally smaller compared to your take profits, even if you went 1-to-1 on your risk to reward, which is the I guess the least tolerant or most tolerant, however you want to figure it, portion that the risk management tool will give you. That's essentially a coin flip. You would have been on the right side of the coin flip 82% of the time, which is absolutely insane. So small losses, bigger gains, manage your risk, be on the right side of probability. And obviously Thor does that. Gives you all the tools to do it. You just got to remove yourself and do it.
All right, last call for alcohol and methers. Any last questions?
I had one more question. If it's that. So it's mainly I got it more has to do. So like I'm a collector, right? So I like to collect different things. So I really like the frogs for the collection side of things too. So I guess my question is there any, I guess any alpha from you guys directly, since we're in a community chat. Is there any alpha directly from you guys on any like expansion or change, or I guess any gamification of any kind, or maybe even just like a PFP art update of the frogs or something to do with the frogs? Because you guys, like, the whole weapon thing was super cool. Like the concept of everything. Like, do you guys plan on evolving that kind of thing with the frogs this year or next year at I guess at any point?
This is the alpha.
Well, if
Yes.
we just said maybe.
I'm just gonna
Strong.
say,
Come on, man. Come
I'm
on,
just
man.
gonna
Why you gotta
say
do
it
that?
out loud.
Alpha Andy in the house.
Fucking Alpha Andy in the house. I'm not gonna tell you exactly what we have planned, but we definitely have a lot planned for the Solana collection. Y'all saw how hard the Bitcoin ordinals are. Absolutely fucking killed it. And there's a lot of updates coming to the Solana collection as well. But I won't tell you what they are just yet.
Solana collection is our home. Tap, the contract, is our scalable protocol. Thorntonals is a valuable fucking asset that's extremely exclusive, and is kick-ass fucking art in his new art, but it is very exclusive. But yeah, Solana's our home, Tap is our protocol, and we're gonna scale them the fuck out.
I will provide clarity on one more thing. And look, y'all, if you ask people in Discord and they ask the questions, it's fine to share this information because it's not recorded or anything like that. But the Solana frogs are, how do I say this? As Tap expands to other protocols, the frogs come with us. We're not going to mint other collections on other chains if it has any relation to Tap. That is a value prop that was really specified specifically to the Solana frog collection. We've covered what it is and why Thordinals has its own utility base and how it has a different value prop as well. The Solana frogs are what is tied to the expansion of Tap, and that will remain the case in perpetuity. So there's a ton planned for our collection. And shit, here you go. My last final thoughts. One of the biggest things that we've had that's been a barrier to adoption for our protocol base is the fact that we're operating under an NFT. And what Mode said earlier is we're getting really good at reducing friction and being able to have a different target audience outside of the original one that we have now, which is largely NFT investors and collectors, which we love. And there's a ton of value just in that. What we want to do is have a frictionless setup for people who want to engage in trading signals or with our automated protocol, where you don't even realize that you're interacting with an NFT or that you're interacting with Kira. Both of those things will be seamlessly integrated into the expansion, and that's one of the things that we're doing to get in front of different audiences. The minute that I mention we're an NFT to a lot of people, investors or protocols or anything, the Binance onboarding team, there's a level of hesitancy that comes with that. But on the flip side, having a token that is essentially an access token for utility or services, those things are really attractive. So I hope that made sense, and I don't want to spill all the beans right yet, but our plan continues to remain the same, that the Solana collection, or the Cyber Frogs, those are corely integrated into the expansion from Tap.
Okay, so I get it. So, like, from the investor side, you're kind of not really, like, you're more on the investor side of things, and then with it's almost like you got a subgroup of the NFTs to take advantage of the Thor kind of like system, or the Thor software, I guess.
The NFT Cyber Frogs will always stay fucking, like, straight up. We're just gonna put on our suit and tie and call some of the shit Tap. Cyber Frogs are still Cyber Frogs. The community's still the community. We're not gonna change anything that's made us successful at this point, which is largely the camaraderie and fun vibes that we have in the Discord. So, but yeah, so that
So
is
it's like some Clark Kent Superman vibes. Kind of like the switcheroo.
It's a if you know sort of situation that we're gonna have in the future.
It's the family, the community. Like it's kind of like it's the OGs. And when I say the inside group, I don't mean like insider trading. I mean like Frogs is just everybody will be able to use Tap. And when people that don't give a fuck about crypto or NFTs can use Tap to make money, we are still here as Cyber Frogs benefiting from that, having our community and everything else and earning when the rest comes in, when Tap becomes adopted. So, Cyber Frogs is like the good old boy club before everyone else finds out about it and tries to get in.
It's like a New York speakeasy.
You fucking got it. Frogs fuck. Exactly. That's the entrance to the speakeasy. Frogs fuck.
I just gotta say, I say it every week, Mode, but seriously, what you're doing here, it's dope. I can feel your passion for this, and it truly is. Like, I can't speak for other people, but I mean, like, that was my first kind of like relative swing trade in and out. You know how I invest. That's not normally how I do things. And so, just that alone, you take away literally every other piece that the Frogs have, which is only like everything I've ever even heard of in all of NFTs, all in one, plus Thor, plus this. Just this Tuesday alone made me buying this fucking frog worth it. So appreciate you, homie, and always anytime you can join Andy, it's dope to hear you too, man. So appreciate you guys.
Glad to have you, brother. And yeah, Andy, I'm glad you joined in too. And yeah, dude, it's pretty cool. I knew you were gonna DCA into Omi there, and you ended up making, an extra probably close to 60% off of 60% more, between 40 and 60% more Omi than you would have it just buying at the point you did. So fucking congrats on that. Yep. Like Andy said, last call for alcohol right here. Anybody else? Go once, twice, frogs fuck.
Frogs
Sweet.
fuck.
I'll have a Trader Tuesday review updated tomorrow with the Sol and BTC charts. Appreciate the fuck out of all you for real. And see you Frogs Fuck Friday.
Frogs fuck.
Frogs fuck.
Frogs fuck.
Bye, guys.